Could not be a better day for the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge Series finale for 2019. Road Atlanta, Braselton, Georgia. 12 corners, 2.5 miles, a little bit over, but let's call it 2.5 among friends, shall we? By the time you've taken the racing line, you've probably knocked a couple of tenths off there. Uphill turn 1, then down through the S's. 6 and 7, 2 corners that need commitment, and then a tricky braking area into turn 10 at the bottom of the hill. Jeremy Shaw is alongside me, John Hindhaugh. We'll have Diana Binks, and a bit later on, Shea Adam in the pit lane for the Fox Factory 120. And delighted to say, Jeremy, that the weather is not going to be a factor here today. Just a quick word for the guys down in the pit lane. Thank you so much for clearing out the pit lane, and I'll count down to green. Great atmosphere down there for Scott and Rachel, who went to Le Mans to celebrate their honeymoon a couple of years ago. Nice to see them again. And we're live on 98.1 FM here at the circuit and around the world on RS2 and IMSA.tv as well. Michelin, tell us, the ambient is 83, so that is well into the 20s. That's about 20, 23, 24 degrees Celsius. Track temperature, 101 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's early 30s, 34 degrees Celsius. Jeremy Shaw, that is going to be punishing for the tyres, for the cars and the drivers.
Well, it certainly is. I mean, it is a warm day today. It's warmer, I think, a little bit more than yesterday. The track record has taken a beating in qualifying by more than 2 seconds. That both track records have been beaten. I think we're going to see the same sort of thing in a race. It's going to be a hot pace. It's going to be an exciting race. I mean, it is absolutely wide open. Great to see that Aston Martin on the pole position. What a good job Akhil Rabindra did. Just his 4th start in this championship. One of the Aston Martin young drivers, and he's certainly living up to that reputation. But for the team, there's a lot riding on this for the team, because they've been in really, really good positions in many of the races this season, and it's all kind of gone wrong either in strategy or during the pit stop. So there's a little extra pressure, I think, down there in the automatic racing pit lane.
We had the exclusive from Diana Binks in one of the earlier sessions. The guys at Automatic, the man at the head of Automatic Racing, which was Dave Russell, of course. I was thinking David Richards there, and I knew that wasn't right, but I had David in my head. David Russell telling Di earlier on that the 3rd of the new Aston Martin Vantages has been ordered. And I think he said it was en route, and deals being put together pretty much as we speak. Probably not as we speak now, because he's a bit busy, but have been being put together for those cars, all 3 of them, to run the full season. That would be an additional entry. They've run at various times the older version of the car, which is having its last run out today.
Yeah, and what a history that car has had in this championship. So it's great to see that car have one more run. You know, that car's still pretty fast. Good to see Ben Waddell, a youngster, making his debut in the championship in that car this weekend. So it'll be interesting to watch his progress in the later stages of the race.
At IMSA Radio, if you want to get in touch with us, 2 hours on their clock. And another young driver that we spoke to in the countdown to green, Sebastian Priaulx, teamed up with Austin Cindric, a 21 years old Cindric, not used to having a younger teammate, he told me.
That's funny,
earlier on. That is funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
But young Priaulx comes with very good credentials. I'm sure Joe is watching at home at the minute. That's his mum. Andy is here. So Joe, he's done a good job so far this week, and he's doing you and Andy proud both in and out of the car.
Yeah, very much so. A really, really smart young man, and he's taken to this track really, really well. Both of those pole sitters, but front row starters, neither of them has been here before, and this is a challenging racetrack to put their cars on the front row. First time out here, very, very impressive indeed. And Seb Priaulx finished 2nd. Using one of these Mustangs in the British GT4 Championship. He's 2nd on the grid again today. He's had 2 wins in the British Championship, and he'd love to have another one here, his first start in North America.
He's in front of a lot of influential people, because coming up next is the WeatherTech qualifying session. Their teams at the moment are getting ready, but team managers, drivers, engineers, team chiefs will all be watching this race, and I'll tell you why. Because it's fine entertainment, and there's always plenty of action So you're putting yourself in front of the right people for potentially your career progression. And we're here as well, ready to go. 120 minutes, the Fox Factory 120 with Akhil Rabindra on driver's right in the white Aston Martin Vantage. Where does he press the loud pedal? Answer now. And Prior tries to go with him, and he's going to have to immediately defend on the inside. It looks like Owen Trinkler's got the best run from the second row and goes down the inside. He'll go up to second. Prior muscled out just a little bit there. He's going to struggle to hold on to third position as through comes Corey Fergus as well in the Ford Mustang. In the McLaren rather. Kyle Marcelli was going well as well there at the sharper end of the field. The champions-elect have started the race. They think that's enough, and now then that car, the 39 car, is unleashed to try and make some forward progress from the midfield. I think the starting driver was telling me earlier on, Tyler McQuarrie, he's only done 2 laps in the car.
Yeah, Tyler's going to drive second. He's the general starting qualifying driver because Jeff Westphal has got to get out of this car and then get ready for qualifying for Petit Le Mans right after this race. He has to start it, therefore he has to qualify the car, and he's not got many laps either. He's slotted into 7th position there in the early stages in that number 39 Audi, and now it's on race mode. They've kind of wrapped that car in cotton wool for the last couple of days here through practice and qualifying. They knew they just needed to start the race to get the points to assure them of the championship. Well, that goal has now been accomplished. Now let's get out there and race.
Jeremy Shaw, John Hindorf and Di Binks for the opening part of the Fox Factory 120, live in sound and vision, and thanks to our colleagues at NASCAR Productions, both here at the circuit and up in Charlotte for a fabulous season. This might get a bit busy, so I may forget to do that later on, and it would be remiss of me to do so, because without the glorious pictures that we've had in the IMSA broadcast booth, we simply couldn't do the job that we do, taking this to the world. So to the staff here on the cameras and everyone doing the technical bits and pieces, and those of you mixing back up in Charlotte, Keith, D'Alessandro and the rest of the team, thank you very much indeed for all your hard work this year. Well, it's been a very good start for Akhil Rabindra, and Owen Trinkler has gone through, the defending champions, their last race as championship winners from last year's defending champions, the 46 Mercedes AMG. Seb Prior held on to third position, and now just got to get his heart rate down. Start is under review if you're watching timing and scoring online from IMSA.com or on the IMSA app. That is standard procedure. They'll check back just to make sure, it's not suggesting that anything was wrong, but they'll go back just to make sure that it's okay. Now we're hearing that possibly we've got some damage on the number 54 car. That's the Stephen Simpson and Michael Johnson TCR Audi, and we can confirm that the 39, having started the race, is now unbeatable in the championship for Carbon. So that is their first of their important bits and pieces done. Across the line, Akhil Rabindra has almost a full second on the second place Mercedes. 09 white Aston Martin from the 46 Mercedes, then the Ford Mustang in the Motorcraft colours in third position. TCR comes across the line now, and Britt Casey Jr. nicking that pole position by the blink of an eye yesterday. Holds it ahead of Shelby Blackstock, up into second place, ahead of Alex Papadopoulos. What's happened to the 98 car? Michael Lewis down to 5th position, the championship leader. Yeah,
very conservative start there. A brilliant effort there by Alex Papadopoulos. Alex Papadopoulos in the Alfa Romeo. He's really charged up that car. A little bit of a tough time in qualifying, because Trenton Estep, who's the co-driver for Papadopoulos, making just his second start in this series, had an off in the previous practice session. They didn't get all the repairs done, so Papadopoulos qualified a little bit further back, but he's charging in the race. Also charging is Seb Prior, just set the fastest lap of the race last time around. The first flying lap is already a new lap record.
Wow. Well over 60 new lap records this year in the IMSA Championships since Michelin came on board across the full set of the major championships. Looks like the Hyundai number 98 is trying to get a bit of a
car
draft
in the pits.
Oh, this is interesting. This is our championship leader, and we will have a jump start penalty for Alexander Papadopoulos in the KMW Motorsport Alpha, the number 3 car. Jump start as the championship leader is in the pit lane. I've got another car in the pit lane as well, which is that 3 car. The 3 car came into the pit, so that won't count as its drive-through. They did work on that car. So Papadopoulos will have to come through again.
He's just coming in now, Papadopoulos.
Oh, right, okay, so there was another car in the pit lane there, Jeremy.
The 39 car, that was also came into the pits. That was Jeff Westphal that came into the pits as well, the championship.
Right, well, Alex Papadopoulos stopped at his pit, so that will not...
I don't think so. No, he just drove straight through.
Well, who was the other car?
The other car was Westphal, number 39.
There was a car stopped at their pits halfway up the pit lane. It was Chad Gilsinger in the 89, the Hart Racing Honda. That's who it was. Thought I saw a glimpse of red on the car. So that's what made me think it was the Alpha, because it was red. Damage to the front left wheel of the cardboard car. Significant damage to the championship leader. And that car looks like it's had a Great White take a chunk out of it. And, well, they haven't changed it. So are they going to go back to the pits? They are. The car goes behind the wall. This is not how they wanted to finish their run to the championship. They have done enough to win the championship by taking the green flag, but not what they wanted. My goodness, how close was that then to disaster, with contact early on, and the Carbon Audi is out of the pit lane and heading back to the paddock area.
No, that's a great shame. After a disappointing first race of the season, it's all gone wrong here, hasn't it, for Carbon? I mean, they kind of put themselves behind the 8 ball, I think, by doing very few laps in practice. They really didn't dial the car in to their ultimate effect, I don't think, during those practice sessions. So Jeff Westphal, when he went out for qualifying, he wasn't completely happy with the car. He hadn't done that many laps, and I think by his own admission, he left a couple of tenths on the table, and that puts you vulnerable. I mean, that car's been qualifying on the front row of the grid on a regular basis all the way through the season, and here he had to start back in the 4th row.
Battle for second position. Owen Trinkler has it. Seb Priaulx wants it. Pulls the Mustang out from behind the AMG Mercedes, going down into 10. But Owen Trinkler, super late on the brakes, is able to hold the Mustang. Now, I always thought the AMG was quite a big car. It's dwarfed by the Mustang behind it. Much more upright machine. And the AMG makes a decent-sized hole in the car, but my goodness, that Mustang must move a bit of air. Whilst that battle goes on, and also battling back the championship elect, the champion-elect in TCR gets a little bit of a sideswipe from the LA Honda World Honda, with which they are battling with. That's Michael Lewis against Shelby Blackstock for second now in TCR as Michael fights back. Let's go to Dinah Binks down at Carbon. Not the way the championship leaders wanted to win the championship. Tyler McQuarrie is with Di.
Tyler, I managed to get down here just as the car was being wheeled out of pit lane and going back to the garage. Clearly you've taken the championship, that was the plan, but I would guess that's not the way you wanted it to happen, because it clearly had damage on the car.
Yeah, obviously, you know, we just needed to start the race to get the championship, but there's still more at stake out there. You know, there's a manufacturer championship at stake. You know, I think Audi's 2 points behind, so we needed to go out there and race for them. But it looks like, you know, I think Jeff was getting underneath Kyle Mostelli in the 60 Mustang, and they had contact, and there's a vent toe leak. So it's back at the trailer. We're going to fix it and go back out. But this is the stuff you kind of worry about coming into a race like this with so much on the line, and that's why we kind of took it easy in practice and just took the green, and we got the championship, but still, big bummer.
Absolutely. I'm sure everyone is not so happy, but you've got the car back. You're going to try and get it back out. Did you manage to see how much damage there was?
As far as I know, it's just the toe link up front. So not sure how much, but these guys will get it fixed, I'm sure. We'll be back out there, but way down.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you.
Very, very disappointing there. Dinah Binks on the beat in the pit lane. And a change of position as Seb Priaulx during that interview did get back into second place in GS and therefore overall ahead of Owen Trinkler. Meantime, also a change of position in second in TCR as the Hyundai's gone through after a little bit of a conservative start, we thought, by the championship leader. Now he's got to chase down Britt Casey Jr. For the lead of the class.
Yeah, but Britt's, he's made his escape at the front of the field. He's got a pretty healthy advantage of about 4 seconds with one of the Aston Martins in the GS category between himself and the second place car in GS. So it's now Audi out front, then Hyundai, then 2 Hondas, then the other Hyundai car number 21, and then is Nick Gallant, who's made a good strides through the field in car number 23 after starting from the back.
I'm with you, by the way, about the car barn, guys. You put yourself in the midfield there. You're racing people that you don't normally race. It's all a bit frantic there. If they'd qualified first 2 rows, they'd have been outside of all that nonsense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, as it happens, for the championship, it doesn't matter, but Audi are going to take a hit there in the Manufacturers' Championship in GS.
Very much so. Yeah, fortunately for Audi, there is another bullet in that gun. Car number 18, which has been run now by Rob Ferriol, who's got very little experience. He's been racing in the Porsche Cup, GT3 Cup Series the last couple of years in the Gold Cup category. Stepped up. This is his 3rd start in the Audi that he's running with the Moore Speed team. Car number 18 doing a really good job in the 11th position. He will hand over that car later to Spencer Pompelli. So that car is going to be fast.
That'll fly later.
And Rob's doing a great first stint in that car as well to be running in the 11th position.
Less than 20 seconds away from the leader at the moment in a cracking battle that stretches really from 9th all the way down to, I'm guessing, around about 14th position, Jeff Mosing sort of area. Ahead of him, Harry Bailog, then Jim Cox in the Mercedes 35. Brynjolfsson sitting right in behind Rob Ferriol in that highlighter yellow, number 7 Porsche 718.
Yeah, and Ferriol just passed Brynjolfsson on that last lap around to move into that 11th position.
Well, championship leaders not faring so well, but the 98 now has broken free of the Honda hordes, having made the pass on Shelby Blackstock a couple of 3 laps ago. And there was contact when they went side by side down into the braking area 10A, and the front wheels hitting each other. Now that is extremely dangerous. It doesn't sound like it, but you're doing, even in a TCR car, before the braking area, what, 130, 140 miles an hour there? And those wheels aren't all inside the fenders, the wheel arches. There's camber on those wheels, which means the bottom of the wheels stick out more than the tops. And you can easily interlock wheels or break wheel hubs. I suggest, by the way, that's what happened. Wheel-to-wheel contact between Kyle Marcelli in the number 60 Mustang and the 39 Carbon Audi. And that was very, very badly damaged. And here comes the Core Motorsport number 60 car. That's the other side of that story that I was just telling us. Into the gravel has gone the number 94 Atlanta Speedworks car. That's the second of their cars this weekend for Tyler Stone and Russell McDonough. And that's at turn 10 as well.
Yeah, I think that's Tyler who's in the gravel there. And that Carl Marcelli car, number 60, that had been slipping back after that incident with the number 39 Audi on the first lap. It had fallen well down the order, and he's brought that car into the pits. If they can get it back out again, maybe he can stay on the lead lap, but they're still looking at the right rear corner on that car. But there it goes now. He's been waved out. He might be able to get out. I think he will be able to get out. If there is a full course caution, at least that car will be still on the lead lap. Yes, there is a full course caution.
And there's a green light at the end of the pit lane,
yep,
so he's out.
Yep.
But what he's in behind is in behind the safety car. But he'll be allowed to pass that. He will be allowed to pass that. So the other side of the story is the Core Motorsports car. Contact with the 39 Carbon Audi. Carbon Audi behind the wall with a toe link problem on the left front, right rear for the Core Motorsports car. I think they looked at both right-hand side tyres, but it was mainly the right rear. And that was a change of wheel and tyre combination for Kyle Marcelli in that car. Now, this, with so little of the race having been completed, is a short yellow. So does that mean that he'll get his wave by then? But they just won't reset the field. He unfortunately...
I think they do a class reset, so...
yeah, the problem is, though, he came out of the pit lane and the safety car was posted at the end of the pit lane. And he's followed the safety car out. So he's in behind the safety car. I'm pretty certain, unless he's already been waved by and the leader being allowed to close up behind, he had no choice but to follow Marcelli. This is in the number 60, the dark red Mustang. No choice but to follow out the safety car because the safety car was staged at the end of pit lane.
Right.
So we'll see that next time.
Yeah,
oh, here he comes. So he's been whipped by. That's really, really good stuff by race control. That because he hadn't done anything wrong there. He came into an open pit. It just so happened that the safety car was staged at the end of pit lane after being so close to the start.
Right, so Akhil Rabindra then still leads in the pole-sitting Aston Martin. He had reset by the fastest lap of the race, by the way, and therefore a new lap record. He did that the lap after Seb Priaulx established his mark. So he will lead. Seb Priaulx in second position. Owen Trinkler third in car number 46. The McLaren, the MIA McLaren, boy, that team's worked hard this season for no reward, no luck at all on their side. Maybe today is the day for them. Corey Fergus lies in fourth position. There's James Clay, who's made a really good start to this race. The BMWs have been struggling lately, but he's running pretty nicely there in the fifth position in car number 82. Behind him is Cole Custer, the Xfinity star, running second in that championship. He won the race last weekend at Dover. Behind him, Russell Ward, a winner last time out. Then the McLaren, Kuno Whitmer. And then Rob Ferriol in ninth position in that Audi R8, car number 18. That's a really good first hit for Rob Ferriol. Bryce Ward rounds out the top 10, also a good run.
So he's ahead of Russell then?
No, he's a couple of places, only three places behind his son. Okay. That's right, father and son there. Father Bryce and Russell the son won his first win for that team and himself last time out at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. In TCR, Britt Clacy Jr. still leads, as he has done from the start, but Michael Lewis, after a tardy start, has moved himself up into second position ahead of the early season championship leader Shelby Blackstock, whose mum, by the way, Reba McIntyre, is here this weekend. Good to see you again, Reba. In the fourth position is Colin Mullen in car number 52. That's a really good story. Yeah, she's here. Yeah. I didn't see her myself, but yeah, she loves coming to the race. Great to see her. Colin Mullen, what a story that is. That's car number 52. He's sharing that car this weekend with Mark Pombo, who's a local driver here. Mark and his brother Matt, who's also driving the number 73 car. Their dad Pepe, he was a local hero here. The Pombos, they've got millions of laps around here, but Mark has never driven this Honda Civic TCR before the test day on Thursday. Wednesday, I guess it was, and he yesterday morning, something I'd never heard before, a Pombo crashed in turn one, and it was Mark. A lot of damage to that car yesterday morning. They were able to repair it in time for Colin Mullen to go out and do 2 laps in qualifying with bits of tape, and the headlight was missing. Aerodynamically, it was a mess.
I don't think they'd even put it on the flat patch.
Nothing at all. No. It was all they could do to get it out there. Really good job there by Colin Mullen to qualify in, I think, 7th position, and he's now running in 4th in car number 52. So youngest driver in the field at 16 years of age.
Hello to Phil Kinch, getting his TCR fix back in, 17. I think he's back in the UK. A great night in, he says. Just what, 6:45 in the UK, 7:45 on a Friday evening. Cracking way to start off the weekend with the Michelin Pilot Challenge final round from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Jeremy Shaw and John Hindhoff in the booth. Di Binks down in the pit lane. Shea Adam en route, doing some banquet duties. Shea again this weekend, as many of the series come to the end of their 2019 season. And our brand new broadcast facility. We've had the honour of being the first broadcaster at the new Daytona, and now at the new Michelin Tower here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. IMSA Radio making history again in North American motorsports. Akhil Rabindra leads back to the green. The safety car is heading into the pit lane. He's got to be careful not to overlap it. No, it's gone, that's fine. Down through 11, under the bridge, through 12. Got a good jump on Sebastian Priaulx there now. What can Seb do in the Mustang in second place? Owen Trinkler in third, going through in fourth, the Mia McLaren. Corey Fergus, the distinctive blue and white car. Got all kinds of action going on further down the field. Alan Brynjolfsson was out the line there for a moment in the number 7. I think Bryce Ward got by him there, actually, on the race board.
No, Bryce made a poor restart. He was overtaken by
yes, correct.
19 car right behind him. That was Ari Baylog. In TCR, however, Mark Wilkins got the jump well before they came down here to start the finish line. At the restart, I think we've got a new leader in TCR. It's number 98,
correct.
Michael Lewis.
I'll buy that for $1. Absolutely correct, and he's done better than that because he's put the Aston Martin between himself and second place.
The boot completely on the other foot. It was the other way around earlier on. Of course, the TCR cars had to take the restart behind all of the GS field. So that's what I'm sure at the restart, Britt Casey Jr. just got kind of fumbled up there amongst the GS cars, and Michael Lewis was able to take advantage in exactly the same way as Britt had done in the early stages at the start of the race, and now it's the Hyundai that leads. And if in the order right now, Hyundai, Audi, Honda, that would mean that Audi would win the Manufacturers' Championship in TCR by a single point, but of course, a long way to go.
Yes, we'll be updating that as we go through. And don't forget, if you weren't listening to us in our countdown to green, Forge Line Wheels Spirit of the Race Award. We're also looking for a Spirit of the Season Award. Hashtag Forge Line SOTR for Spirit of the Race. Forge Line SOTR for Spirit of the Race. And if you've got a season one as well, stick that in. But start that tweet with the word season. And we'll sort that out by the end of the race. Steve Sharp with us on the grid. The wheels manufacturer from Huntington, Ohio. A forged carbon wheel, he told me, in the countdown to green. That's the next thing to come. 99 Aston Martin in amongst the TCRs. Ramin Abdul-Vahabi at the moment is in second place in TCR effectively, and that is rather annoying. Britt Casey Jr. in the number 17. That's the Audi, and it'll just stretch away from him. That GT4 car doesn't have a lot of downforce. It's also got a big 4.7 litre engine, and it will stretch away from Britt Casey Jr.'s 2 litre front-wheel drive 4-cylinder car with about 330 horsepower. I would think probably about 100, 120 horsepower more in the Aston, and way less drag. In fact, he's caught the number 98 car, which leads the category for Hyundai. What a season it's been for the new Hyundai Veloster N. So, Jeremy, opening salvos having been completed.
Yeah, really interesting, isn't it? And Seb Priaulx is pretty much hanging with our race leader Akhil Rabindra here now at this restart. Yeah, no kidding. And Owen Trinkler, he's fallen 7 or 8 car lengths behind, maybe a little bit more than that now. Seb Priaulx really puts the pressure on Akhil Rabindra going through turn 7, gets a good jump off the corner as well. How fast is the Ford Mustang on the straight? Well, not quick enough, unfortunately.
How big is the Ford Mustang? When you see them together, how much higher is it in terms of the roof height of that car? And this is the glory for me, the beauty of GS GT4 racing. And whilst I know that a lot of people don't like balance of performance, well, if we didn't have balance of performance here, we wouldn't have the number of manufacturers we have here. How many manufacturers in GS, Jeremy? Is it 8 that we've got here? Sorry, is it 8?
Yes, it's 8, yes.
I got very excited about that there.
Great, isn't it?
And 6 of them have been on the podium this year. It's an extraordinary statistic. Top that have won, sorry, yes. 6 of the 8 manufacturers have won this year. It's been an extraordinary run. More manufacturers coming into TCR all the time. Hyundai and Honda coming in for this season. We've lost our VWs. Sounded to me as though the Alpha boys are happy to come back and have a bit of a play next year as
very
well.
Much so, yeah. I mean, they're super excited about next year. They're super excited about today, actually. Unfortunately, well, Ryan Block is doing just fine in number 5 car, hanging in there with most of the other leaders in TCR. Unfortunately, number 3 made a mistake early in the race. Alex Papadopoulos was caught for a jump start and had to make a drive-through penalty. Good news for him is this caution should, I believe, have helped him.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with that car, because I was pretty certain they came in and did work on that car, but he's back up to 11th position ahead of Roy Block.
Oh, that's Bryce Wood in
the other car. So those 2 Alphas are actually back together again, and they are sitting right on the back of the TCR field.
So Bryce Ward has just made a pit stop. Number 39 car is back in the race, albeit many laps down.
That's the champions elect. We'll call them the champions elect.
Yeah, they are the champions now.
Yeah. Emergency service requirements not fulfilled by the number 89 car. Ah, yes, that was the car, wasn't it, that came in? The Hart car. Now, I thought they'd got in before the full course yellow, if I'm honest, but okay. So they're going to get a stop in 10 seconds, but they're well down the field. Anyway, meantime, the battle for
yellow. The pits are closed.
I thought they got in before the yellow came out.
Yeah, but still, even if they're in the pits and a yellow and a full course caution is caused and a short yellow, you're not allowed to work it. You can drive through. It's just a kind of thing that works against you, which is unfortunate.
Fantastic piece of outbraking by Britt Casey Jr. into the first corner. Has got him back ahead of Ramin Abdulvahavi. For a moment, he was right on the tail of Michael Lewis, and it looked like that lead might change again. Championship lead is coming in, 39. Car back out. When I was doing the pit walk and I came down to grid, I don't get let out of the commentary box nearly as much as I'd like to. I just remember every year how much I like getting down into the paddock here. And the back end of that car, which looks a relatively sane flat black on that car, has actually got a beautiful green metallic underneath it, which was resplendent in the sun, matching that lime green paintwork that is the line work on that 39 car. It looked fantastic.
Well, Tyler McCrory was telling me this morning that Jeff Westphal actually designed these cars.
Really?
Yeah,
he's the delivery designer.
I believe so.
He's done a cracking job, I'll tell you that now. Aston Martin from Ford Mustang, from AMG Mercedes, from McLaren, from BMW M4 GT4. The top 5 cars within 6 seconds across the line are all from different manufacturers. As in comes the Hart Honda to fulfill its drive-through penalty. Emergency service requirements mean that you can fix what was broken on the car but nothing else. If you're short of fuel, you can put 3 seconds worth of fuel in, then you've got to send it. And that car was stationary for quite a long time at its pit when I looked down there, and I just saw a little red car. I have to say, I thought it was the number 3 car that was coming in to serve its drive-through for its drive-through for the jump start, which is another reason I think it wasn't under yellow, because I would have noticed straight away if it'd come in to try and serve a drive-through under yellow. But okay, hour and 33 minutes to go. At IMSA Radio on Twitter. Phew-wee, hectic start. Number 98 then, leads TCR. As I was saying, what a year for the Hyundai Veloster. First year with the new body shape. Yes, they transferred quite a lot of the running gear from the i30N, which was a championship winning car for Brian Herter over in World Challenge in terms of the team's championship last year. But you can never be sure, Jeremy, can you? I mean, just putting another body on a car isn't as, or putting the race gear into another body of the same manufacturer, that's not as easy as it sounds, is it? It's not like an Airfix kit where you're just bolting things back together. All of a sudden, everything that worked beautifully well on the i30N it's got different packaging around it.
Yeah, it's funny though, isn't it? It's not quite so straightforward.
It's been very good indeed, and already the first customer car has been sold. A couple indeed from Brian Herter Autosport. Hyundai Motorsport Group will be very, very happy indeed about that. Had 3 different versions of TCR cars, or Hyundai's, racing at the Nürburgring 24 hours earlier this season. And they're really making a push and a play in motorsport to show their sports brand, which is the N brand, to the best light. Right, let's head back to the front of the field now, where Sebastian Priaulx has hunted down the leader. He gets through the twisty bits very well in that Mustang. Now, physically, Jeremy, that's a big car. Yeah. Is it a heavy car?
Yes.
The Mustang?
Yeah, it's a full 100 kilos heavier than the Aston Martin.
Well,
the
that's
Aston
my
Martin,
weight.
Yeah, well...
No, that is my weight,
yeah,
100 kilos.
1445 kilograms is the Aston Martin weight. The Ford Mustang is 1545.
I used to be 125, so I've lost a bit of success ballast there because I haven't been very successful lately. So basically, Akhil Rabindra could have me sitting alongside him and he would still only be the same weight as the car.
Yeah, do you think that might be a little bit of a handicap?
Well, only if I talk to him. No, you don't want to be turning in there, mate. Come on, Akil, what are you doing there? Get up the gears. You've got a handbrake on, son.
Fantastic battle for sort of 13th on back, tremendous saddler, 3 wide going into turn, and that's not going to work, chaps. Someone's going to have to give way there.
It's one of the Winwood cars in there.
Yeah, just ahead of them all. Gary Ferrara's doing a really nice job in car number 97. He's worked his way up half a dozen positions over the last, since the restart. And Gary Ferrara now in the 11th position, 12th position, behind Ori Fridani in the McLaren car number 13 that started in the 18th position.
And I think there it was Jeff Morsing making the best of that. He carved past Alan Brynjolfsson, who was 3 or 4 cars ahead of him when they crossed the line. So a big shuffle there in the early teens of the battling GS. Top 19 are GS cars. They were 30 seconds spread from first to number 19 position. Then Michael Lewis in the Hyundai Veloster NTCR from Brian Herder Autosport in 20th position. He's got a couple of seconds on the next car and the car between him. Brent Mosing in the 65. That's the Murillo racing car that he shares with Tim Probert. Cal Marcelli, by the way, did get back around to the end of the train and is making his way through. He's got Frank Depew ahead of him and Alan Brynjolfsson. Well, he's just gone past Brynjolfsson and now he drops in behind Frank Depew in the Rebel Rock Racing Camaro. I expect to see that car towards the sharp end of the field in the second half of the race with Robin Liddell at the wheel. Spin, Atlanta Speedworks, 94 car. That's the Tyler Stone and Russell McDonough car.
You said that about half an hour ago.
Yes, different part of the track though.
Oops.
Oh, off and in the wall, that's huge.
Yeah.
That looks like the 54 car to me.
He got hit from behind by number 3 car. I think number 54 lifted off when he saw the caution period. The number 3 car was already committed behind him and I think hit the tail end of the number 54 Audi and spun it into the wall.
Yeah, that was Alex Papadopoulos in the 3 Alpha and Michael Johnson in the 54 car. And that car hit the wall hard. There was a sickening thud underneath us. He just about caught the end of the tyres, but I've got a feeling that there was some contact with the unprotected part of the concrete wall there for Michael. Now, Michael doesn't have the use of his legs and drives with the hand controls, so he won't be able to get out that car himself, so don't expect to see him moving there. He will need some assistance out of the car as the full course caution is out. And everybody needs to really slow down coming through turn 12 there because that's a very precarious position. We've already got the IMSA Chevy safety truck there. The yellow flag was coming out, the full course yellow was coming out for the Atlanta Speedworks number 94 car at the top of turn 2. And, oh, it was pushed way early in the corner and 2 big hits. That was at the apex of the corner of turn 12 that the initial contact happened. Michael had left the door open a little bit and I think you're right, Jeremy, I think he was lifting off. What I can't see is whether the yellow flags were out before that contact for the full course yellow, but it must have been close to that.
I'm pretty sure you'd called it just beforehand.
Yeah. That's going to take some time to get Michael out of the car.
Yeah.
They'll shut the car down. The door is open. The window net is down. That's always a good sign. AMR, Rapid Response, Porsche Cayennes on the scene. Underneath us, the car's just gone a little bit further along the start. He did cross the start-finish line, having already lost that position, but he was being pushed even at the apex of the corner. Yeah. That was very, very early on in the piece.
Yeah, I think
that car was being pushed.
Yeah, the replay we just saw there, the incident's already kind of started because they're on their way into the corner. I think Michael Johnson's lifted off there and kind of caught Alex Papadopoulos unawares a little bit. So really, really unfortunate that those two should get together, and it's a heavy impact for Michael.
Well.
Yeah, that was a great shame.
As I say, I think the initial contact was with part of the tyre wall at least, but there was some contact with concrete, and that is very unforgiving concrete there because there's an earth bank behind it.
It doesn't move.
It's, concrete wall 1, Audi 0, I'm afraid, for that one.
Such a shame. I mean, Michael, he does a fantastic job. And I saw Stephen Simpson, his co-driver, just before the start of the race, and they've got a really, really good car this weekend. They were looking forward to the later stages of this race.
Yeah, Mike exactly said the same thing to me as I was walking back after the grid walk. We welcomed Shea Adam into the pit lane. Good afternoon, Shea. You can see this better than we can. What's going on there on the start-finish line? As the pits are open, by the way.
Oh, great. So I'll just turn around behind and pay attention to that too. But the AMR safety crew do have Michael out of the car. He is now in the Cayenne safety vehicle. And there was a little brake fire on the right front of this car, so that has been attended to. But the back of the Audi is much further forward than it should have been. As the cars stream into the pit lane, and down on my end, first car to hit its marks is that number 46 Team TGM Mercedes. Owen Trinkler staying aboard, but he is getting at the very least new right side tires. They are doing what looks like a 4-tire change for the Compass McLaren, and no driver change there. No driver changes up and down as you would expect. On Di's end of the leader, Di's end of the pit lane though, she has the leader. No, I'm down the other end of the pit lane. Sorry, I'm over the wrong side of the pit wall, so I can just see the 97 that's come in and the 09 for their driver change and pit stops. But I'll just need to run a bit further up to catch the TCR leader. More Speed was the first car done with their pit stop on the pit lane, but then something went wrong as Rob Ferriol was pulling the car back out. Owen Trinkler is then the first one to get going again. We do have a TCR car in the pit lane, 2 TCR cars in, as a matter of fact, but they are not supposed to be in this time by, so that'll be a penalty for both the 3
change
and
of
the
lead,
94.
Change of lead.
Change of lead?
Yeah, change of lead from the
Trinkler.
cars going out, and Owen Trinkler, if he didn't get out the car, and he won't have, he has gone out in the lead. Was wearing the T-shirt in Vardy We Trust earlier on. He had the moustache, the handlebar moustache as well, or the Che Guevara moustache earlier on as well, which he actually rocked pretty well, did Owen. And that is the first car out, I reckon. Owen Trinkler out first, but we did get 3 cars that didn't stop, Jeremy.
Yeah, 4 cars that did not stop. Number 22, which will be leading the race, that's Cole Custer. Number 19 and number 88, the 2 Stephen Cameron racing BMWs, Ari Baylog and Henry Schmidt. And also number 99 car of, that's the older Aston Martin with Gary Ferrara at the wheel. That car did not stop either. I beg your pardon, it was Rabin Abdul-Vahabi driving number 9 car. I don't think that stopped either.
Let's go back down to Shea Adam for a little summary of what's happened before the TCR cars come in. Shea, what did you say?
Right now, Kyle Marcelli's car is still stationary in the pit lane. It's unusual for him to qualify and start the race, but they've changed it up this weekend of Core Motorsport, and they're taking advantage of this yellow flag to change the rear wing angle on this car. So the aerodynamics lessons continue, John.
Sounded lovely as it was going out there, Shea. Thank you. Stand by, Shea and Diana. Here come the TCRs, and the leader is in. In fact, everybody's in. They're all going to follow along. 98 Hyundai, 17 second place Audi, then the now did the 57s, did I think the 30s, no, the 37 has come in. Shea, we'll take you first.
All right, for the Audi, Britt Casey Jr. put this car on pole. They are doing 4 tires and fuel. The 2 LA Honda World cars came in together. Oh no, all 3 of them. So it is a 3 Honda pit stop further up the pit lane, and it's going to be fuel only for Roadshagger Racing. They're the team who won the last time out, that number 61 Audi.
Down the other end of the pit lane, the 98 of with Michael Lewis behind the wheel, the Brian Herter Autosport car is in. That's a change of tyres, refueling, and cleaning the driver's windscreen, just waiting for a driver change there. I can't see from here if too early for that. So no, they are doing it's a long pit stop, but it's not really. The 21 is behind. But it looks as if they're struggling with the back rear. No, they've dropped that car, the 98 that is, down, and off he goes back out. The number 21 of Mason Felipe, Harry Goldschwiger, is in the pits. Also, that's a no driver change, of course, and fuel and tyres, and off they go back out onto the track.
It wasn't the smoothest stop for the number 98. It's all down to how much fuel and how long the fuel hose is on. The left front seemed to be sticky there on the 98 car, the Hyundai Veloster, which came in second position, but at least 2 or 3 cars have got out in front of it, Jeremy.
Yeah, number 60 car came down the hill there awfully fast, and you got a bit of a finger wagging, I think, from the
well, good.
From the absolutely, from the starter's gantry there. He slowed up when he got kind of to the apex of the corner, but he was certainly carrying a lot of speed. That number 60 car, of course, that made it pit stop much longer than everybody else, so he's trying to catch up the field. What he needs to realise is he's got plenty of time to catch up the field.
Yeah, this is not going to be cleaned up at the end of this lap that he's on, and he's got the rest of the lap to do it as well, Jeremy. It's not like he hasn't been through there 2 or 3 times before. That's very poor. That is that still Kyle on board? I mean, Kyle Marcelli is not a rookie.
We've only got an hour and 20 to go, so I don't think we'll have seen many driver changes because we haven't yet.
Don't think we saw any.
No, we wouldn't have done because we haven't reached the 40-minute mark in the race. That's why the top 4 all stayed out.
Now we're getting some of the top 4. I don't understand that at all unless they were struggling. Yeah, it is still Kyle Marcelli behind the wheel of the number 60, and Kyle knows better than that. So the 30, hang on a second, the 39 car will cycle to the front of the field, but of course he's laps down. Many laps down, so he won't. Will he get away by beforehand? He might get one of his laps back. All right, the cars that didn't come in on the first time around, for whatever reason, they're in the pit lane. Shea, what's happening at your end?
Stephen Cameron Racing with both of the BMWs in. That's the 19 and the 88. They are both getting full service as far as I can tell. There is a helmeted driver climbing over the wall and climbing into the 19. So a driver change for both of those cars. Interesting. Turner Motorsports BMW also into the pit lane. That's the 96. Vin Barletta is definitely getting out of that. And Robbie Foley climbing aboard. We've got a lot of TCR cars back in because we have just crossed over the 40-minute mark, so we can do driver changes. Ted Giovannis is out of the number 4, Team TGM Mercedes, and in is Guy Cosmo. And who else? Well, I can't see anybody else. Di, what can you see?
The number 99 is in. They've made automatic racing. They are making a driver change. I think that's probably the first one we've seen so far. They're refueling and tyre change, so they've just finished the refueling there, strapping the driver into the seat, making some final adjustments, looking around the car very quickly. Quick chat with the driver. They've shut the door. That was a fairly slick pit stop, but it seems to be slightly longer than normal. Maybe that's because it's the driver change time for them.
Let's go back to Shea for the 17. I'm not sure they got the fuel hose into the Audi TCR car there. They were struggling with that. I'm not sure it was in properly, to be honest. That was the car that qualified at the sharp end of the TCR field.
Correct, and they had a very slow stop the last time around. They changed all 4 of the tires, and this time they did struggle with the fuel hose, but they did manage to get it in. That car is now back out and rolling ahead of, well, 2 other cars that came in during the session, but behind the other TCR cars who came in at the same time.
So we reckon, from what Di was saying there, the 99 Aston Martin was I think is the only GS car that changed its driver, did it? Ben Waddell is in that
I would
car.
imagine that the Stephen Cameron
Guy Cosmo's in that in the 4 car. Also, we think the 96 car has changed because Robbie Foley's in that car. Right, so all those guys who stayed out for the extra lap, they gave up track position, but what they've done is they've got their second driver in, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's certainly the reason they did that. But track position here, it's not easy to overtake around here, and working their way from the back of the pack with so many GS cars, it's going to be a lot of work they're going to have to do. I think there's 1 or 2 teams have decided that they're going to give up the track position now as well, whilst we're still under safety car. I don't think we're going to be under safety car for very much longer, but there's cars peeling in, including Chase Briscoe in the 22 Ford Mustang, Tom Dyer in the 19 BMW, and the 88 of Greg Leafuga also coming in, Alan Brynjolfsson. Shea, Adam.
Dylan Murray has not had enough seat time today. He's only driven in an LMP3 race, so he's jumping aboard the 35 Riley Technology Mercedes. Right behind him, and I mean right behind him, the AWA McLaren is in for a pit stop. That is Chris Green taking over there. And the number 60 Mercedes, Kyle Marcelli, getting out. The safety workers will probably be happy about that. Nate Stacey jumping aboard. It's Gavin Ernstone out of the 61 TCR machine and John Morley getting in. Tim Probert, it looks like, getting out of, or into the 65 Marilla Racing Mercedes. And we had Trent Hibman into the 7 Volt Racing machine. And then I can't see any further up on Di's end.
Down the other end is the number 21 Brian Herter Autosport car, Hyundai. Mason Felipe and Harry Gottsacker. They are making a driver change down here as well. They'll be refueling and changing tyres. And I'm just trying to see, they're just strapping each other in, and I can't see who's got out of that car. A definite driver change for the number 21.
Thanks, Ty and Shea. Now this is going to be another little reset then. The incident is under review. Not surprised.
No, there's certainly nothing malicious there, but...
no, I don't think there was anything malicious, Jeremy, but they'll be looking to see if it was avoidable.
Yeah.
Safety car lights are out, just to say Michael Johnson was helped from his car, and if you saw that and wondered why Michael spent a long time in the car, don't worry necessarily about that. Michael doesn't have the use of his legs. He drives the car with hand controls and also needs help to get out the car under normal circumstances. But Michael was extricated from the car, and we'll get you a report on his condition in a moment. Green flag is out and the ranks are broken already, and the more speed Audi was the first car to come out of line. Third position for Rob Ferriol across the line is fourth. Akhil Rabindra trying to go around the outside. It is the 46 Owen Trinkler that leads, courtesy of some great strategy. I just wonder, if they short-filled that car to get themselves out in front of the field. Side by side, more speed. Audi, the red and white car at the top of the hill, ahead of the McLaren, just going over the top of the hill there. That's the Kuno Whitmer 75 Compass Racing car, the dark grey McLaren. There's two McLarens at the sharp end of the field again, Jeremy. AMG Mercedes from Aston Martin in first and second place, then McLaren, then Audi, then McLaren. Behind that, BMW, then the second of the AMGs is the 33 car. That's the Winward car. In fact, chalk that up to another position. He's just got past the BMW into turn 6. Cracking restart from Russell Ward, who's now side by side with the BMW as the BMW fights back at the back straight. 2 wide, it's going to be 3 wide. Here comes the number 15, Seb Prior, who was right at the sharp end of the field, shuffled back to 9th position after the pit stops. So the Multimatic guy is getting caught out in the pit lane maybe, but certainly didn't get that car turned around for Seb Prior, who was fighting in 2nd position.
That is unusual for the Multimatic guys not to have a exemplary pit stop.
And the penalty has been assessed on the number 3 at the Alfa Romeo, and that has already gone behind the wall for Alexandra Papadopoulos, and Trenton Estep not yet been in that car.
Oh, that's a great shame.
That's a
great shame.
Sour end for all in that to the season, to be honest. Alex is not that type of driver. He'll be annoyed with himself, he'll be disappointed, and he certainly doesn't want to finish somebody else's season like that either. With the yellow flags coming out as they were coming down to one of the fastest corners in American motorsport for any car. Quite an extraordinary run down the hill there. So let's quickly give you the situation as we've got the restart underway now. We'll start with TCR, and Nick Galanti leads for Road Shagger Racing. So they did one pit stop. Excuse me, for Fast MG, yes, excuse me, the grey and purple car with the racing.
Is this number 37 car coming into the pit?
Yes, it is. It is, Jeremy.
That's a championship contender in 2nd place coming in this weekend. They elected to stay out, make their driver change after everybody else. So that car is...
Oh, big off down the back straight. It's Russell Ward. He's in almost over, and he's ripped 3 corners off the car, hit the wall on driver's left very hard indeed. That's a full course yellow immediately, and that was unabated speed. The car shedding pieces. He hit the wall a good maybe 100 feet before the apex of turn number 10A, and spinning round. The engine, the bonnet is up on the 37 car in the pit lane. Now that car was in the pit lane before the yellow flag came out. Russell Ward has had a couple of big shunts in the last season and a half, none bigger than that one. The AMR safety crew already getting to him. Well, what precipitated that? Because, well, I can see Russell moving around inside the car. In fact, he's getting himself out. That's great news. these GT4 and a round of applause from the fans down there as well. That was a huge accident, but what precipitated it? Oh, he got a little tag from the 82 car. Oh my goodness me.
He was trying to defend there to the inside. He was in the middle of the racetrack, and he was squeezing Clay all the way to the inside there. He was way across, past the halfway point of the racetrack. I'm sorry. He's got that coming to him. He's trying to defend too late in that instance, and Russell is going to pay the bigger penalty.
Very nearly picked up the
Rob Ferriol.
Rob Ferriol, more speed car. Corners ripped off that machine. It's been
I'm afraid
an expensive year.
Yeah, he made that defence just a little bit too late. You can see him squeezing.
I think the BMW moved across to the right.
He squeezed. No. You should be on the right-hand side of the road there to take the corner. I mean, if the BMW's got the momentum. No.
Let's go down to the team. Indy Doncic not going to get a drive today. He's been watching the same pictures as us. I just wonder if they've had any radio contact with Russell there and to know if he's okay, Di.
Indy, have you been able to chat to Russell?
Yeah, the team is talking to him, and everything was okay. As we could see, it was a big impact. So hopefully he doesn't get anything afterwards. But for the moment, he's okay.
And how did you see it? You were watching the screen as you saw the incident unfold. How did you see it?
Well, my first thoughts is that the BMW steered in at us. I think it's not fair racing. You can see how bad our car is now. It's not nice for Windward Racing, and for us, we were on a pretty good shape, pretty good spot, and it's not nice to end the race like this.
Well, we're glad he's okay, and sorry that you're not going to get in the car yourself, but thanks for chatting.
No problem, thanks.
Yeah, pro is Indy Doncic. Well, after a really good race last time out for Russell Ward, where he drove out of his skin.
Brilliant drive. Well-deserved victory for that team.
Absolutely agree. It's the back view,
but
Jeremy.
Where they are on the racetrack, that's the thing. They're way over the left-hand side of the road for a left-hand corner. They're still several hundred yards before they even get to the braking area. Way over to the left there, and I think Russell's been a bit too stout in his defence.
But if he's gone there early enough, then all he's doing is holding his line. You can't expect him to move out the way for the BMW, can you?
Absolutely not. No, I mean, it looked to me that they were running. I didn't see either of them really move their line too much at that point. They were heading towards the inside lane of the corner there, which is fine. But unfortunately, they managed to kind of hook wheels and spin each other around.
Let's pick up on a championship contender in TCR coming into the race. The LA Honda World, number 37, Shelby Blackstock and Tom O'Gorman. Shea's been watching that car. It came in just before the yellow flags were deployed, Shea, so they can work on the car, but it's not good news again for a car that had a couple of really awful races with niggly mechanical issues in the middle part of the year.
It's heartbreak, John. This car's going behind the wall. They just added about 6 miniature bottles of water in. There was some overheating going on, and then when they told Tom O'Gorman to start it up, it wouldn't. So this car now being pushed by people power back behind the wall. They will go to work on it. Luis Pericarpi's organization will never give up, but their chance at a championship is going out the window.
Oh, that's awful. They fought back to get back into the championship hunt after a couple of races that they would want to forget. As I said to Tom O'Gorman in our countdown to green from the grid, and I didn't even want him to describe that, just focus forward. And they were right in the battle there for Honda for the Manufacturers' Championship and indeed for the Drivers' Championship.
The only upside is that the sister car, Colin Mullen, actually took the lead right before this caution came out in car number 52. So he's done a fantastic job there. He's running in the first position is Brian Henderson in the Atlanta Speedworks car is right behind him in second, bless you. Then Nick Gallant is third in the Audi. But that would be second place championship points, which would be good enough for Audi to win the championship at this stage. So this is a tremendous contact with the best of the Hyundai's Michael Lewis in fourth position right now. So that battle is still very much on for the TCR Manufacturers Championship. For Shelby Blackstock and for Tom O'Gorman, yes, the Drivers' Championship hopes, which were fairly slim coming into this weekend with an 11-point deficit, that's gone out of the window, but very much not so for the Manufacturers' Championship.
They could even lose second position in the championship, those two in the Drivers' Championship. A couple of penalties to tell you about in that hectic pit window
they will
opening.
lose. They will
Right,
lose second.
okay.
Yeah. They're only 3 points ahead of.
I thought so, yeah. The Riley Motorsports AMG Mercedes of Jim Cox and Dylan Murray, the number 35 car, ran over some pit equipment. That'll get them a drive-through once we go back to green, as did the number 88 BMW GT4 M4 from Stephen Cameron Racing, Harry Schmidt and Greg Learfuger.
That's disappointing for them because they were up in the top 15.
Yeah, so both of those cars will take a drive-through penalty when we go back to green. Meantime, the big machine is doing its job with the concrete blocks. There's a lot of debris to be blown off the circuit as well. The rubbish on the track flag, the yellow and red stripe flag, often called the fluid flag or the slippery surface flag, is quite often deployed for that, but basically it means something on the track that shouldn't be there. It can be debris as well. As the clear-up continues, the remnants of the 33 Winward Mercedes are being winched onto the car. Car stood up really, really well to what was a very, very violent impact. The driver's door opened. Various bits have fallen off the car, and that's kind of what you expect. You want to see that things breaking away to dissipate the energy, particularly on a spinning impact like that. But the driver's door opened perfectly well, and Russell was able to get out. So that's the good news as we come down to about an hour to go. Oh, this is big. This is very big indeed. Robin Liddell has been installed in the number 71, the Camaro, and that's going to get a penalty as well. Frank Depew and Robin Liddell in the Rebel Rock Racing have won a couple of races this year in that Camaro, and they'll have to come in and do a drive-through. There will be no pass around, is what we're hearing from race control.
No, I don't think it's unnecessary at this stage. I think everybody's pretty much where they need to be on the lead lap in respective categories.
Sheer telling us, by the way, the Rebel Rock Racing car clipped a tyre on the way out of the pit box, so that's a slam dunk for the drive-through.
Yeah, that's a shame because that was one of the cars that let you to come in, not with everybody else, to wait out an extra 3 laps until the 40 minutes had expired. Then they could make the driver change from Frank Depew to Robin Liddell. There weren't that many cars. There were about 6, 7 or 8 cars that came in during that second round of pit stops, if you like, so they were going to be towards the back of the pack in any case, which they are, but they're now going to have to serve a penalty as well.
Looks like the clean-up is going very well, again thanks to our track services and marshalling team.
So we are going to have the class split now. So all of the GS cars will move ahead of all the TCRs, so the GS cars will be ahead of all the TCRs on the racetrack when we go back to green, so you can see out on the racetrack who is leading in TCR, and all the cars behind them, at least when they take the green flag or come up towards the green flag, will be TCRs and be led by Colin Mullen. What a great story it is for that LA Honda World team. There's a lot of damage to that number 52 car when Mark Pombo made a very rare mistake. He was distraught yesterday after that, and even when I saw him this morning, he was
still head in hand, sort of.
But he's a racer. You've got a huge amount of experience here, and he's just. You'll be thrilled to see what a great job Colin Mullen, the youngster, 17 years of age from California, the youngest driver in this field. He was supposed to race here last year, raced with the Honda team, with the LAP Mini team, last season, but missed this race because he was over in England taking part in the Team USA scholarship program, so he wasn't able to come here. This is his first time at Road Atlanta, and here he is leading the race in TCR. And that team, they've had a lot of bad luck this season, but right now they're in the lead of the class in TCR.
And who are the 2 Team USA scholarship guys who are across there in the UK at the moment? Have they just gone across there?
Yeah, Josh Green, who's been racing in F1600 over here this season. He finished second in the championship, and Scott Huffaker, who we're used to seeing regularly in the Michelin Prototype Challenge Series race. So they're both over in England now, preparing for the Formula Ford Festival, which is a couple of weeks' time.
2 weeks' time, is it?
Yeah,
and then the week after that is the Walter Hayes at Silverstone.
A race tomorrow at Alton Park to get ready to do some sort of,
my goodness,
to figure out how the racing works.
Baptism
over
of
there.
fire there,
mate. Lots of testing.
Cliff Dempsey and Michelle Dempsey looking after the boys as usual. And we'll try and catch up with them next week on Midweek Motorsport on Wednesday. And doing a cracking job. Alton Park is rather like a UK version of what we're looking at here at Road Atlanta. Circuit that is in green parkland, quite a narrow track, undulating, has a character all of its own. A mini Nürburgring, I've heard those in the northwest of England call that. Coming down to the hour, Jeremy, half distance, as the Mercedes number 33 with the Mobil One and Iberia Bank sponsorship is off on the back of the trailer, the flatbed, and that will head straight back behind into the paddock behind the Michelin Tower, which is where our broadcast booth is. Very big hit for Russell, but he walked away.
Such a shame.
We'll see if we can get a chat with him if he comes back to the pit lane. He may not, of course, and we'll understand that. The lights, I think, are about to go out on the safety car as it heads down towards turn 6 at the moment. We've got the GS field behind Owen Trinkler, who hung on to the lead ahead of Akil Rabinder. So it's 46 Mercedes, blue and purple, from the 09 automatic Aston Martin, the white car in second. Then the 69 McLaren, Corey Ferguson, the white and blue Motorsport in action, the Mia McLaren. Then the dark grey and orange 75 Compass Racing car in the hands of Kuno Whitmer. So Mercedes, Aston, McLaren. Then the 18 white and red, more speed, Audi R8 in Rob Ferriol's hands. Brilliant drive by Rob. All right, there's been all kinds of things going on, but he still had to pedal that car. 5th position, they'll be delighted with that. Then James Clay, who Rob overtook actually just before the pit stops. James Clay in the 82 Bimmerwell BMW. Then Seb Priaulx trying to make up places. He came into the first set of pit stops there in 2nd position, came out in about 8th or 9th. Stand by, we're halfway through.
And behind them is the first of the cars that has made a driver change. That's Robbie Foley,
Good
the
point.
BMW car number 96.
That's a very good point. Through the final corner. Great commitment from Owen Trinkler as he 4-wheel drifted that car through the final corner, and he's got a good jump on the field, half a second going up through turn 1. Here's the battle further back as Seb Priaulx tries to get involved, and that was a BMW going past an Audi into turn 1, and Priaulx coming through as well, and Foley's right behind him as well in the yellow and blue BMW. So that means that James Clay has got back ahead Rob Ferriol, so that's a BMW back into 5th position and immediately starts to close down on Kuno Whitmer in the 75 Compass Racing car. Great battle for 6th, 7th and 8th position with Robbie Foley in that distinctive yellow and blue BMW from Turner Motorsport right there, left and right swinging around in front of him, the grey and white Motorcraft Mustang of Sebastian Priaulx. Yes, I'm not getting his name wrong. His dad Andy is here. This is 18-year-old Sebastian Priaulx, who is... Andy joked to me a couple of years ago when Seb was starting his career. He says, this is the reason I'm still having to race, to keep him going through his early years. Great battles going. He was joking.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. He was saying he better do well and get a decent drive so he can keep me enjoying to the style that we could easily become accustomed, I think, out on Guernsey. Hi, Joe. I'm sure Seb's mum is watching at the moment. He's doing a grand job both on and off the track, as we said earlier on, and fighting for position and taking a position into turn 1 as he rolls off the brake pedal and goes through. Rob Ferriol then drops down to 7th position. Sebastian Priaulx goes up to 6th place, 5 seconds off the lead.
Number 88 and 71 cars serving their penalties right now. Robin Liddell is glued to the rear bumper of the number 88 BMW.
Shit, Adam, was he actually touching him as he went through the pit lane there?
Yeah, that was bump drafting. That was Robin Liddell actually on the back bumper of the BMW. There was no space for a sheet of paper between the two of them. Robin was making contact.
Yeah, like I say, glued.
Yeah, you did say that. Absolutely right. Don't forget the Forge Line Wheels Spirit of the Race Award. We're halfway through now, so start to crystallise some of your thoughts now. At Forge Line, hashtag Forge Line SOTR for Spirit of the Race, and we're looking for your ideas of Spirit of the Season as well. Use the same hashtag, but start your season thoughts with season in the the message part. So the same hashtag, ForgeLine SOTR, for the ForgeLine Spirit of the Race and Spirit of the Season awards from you, the listeners and the viewers, whether you're here at the track on 98.1 FM or you're further afield. Side-by-side action in TCR as the battle for second position is going the way of the championship leaders. The 98 Hyundai down the inside at turn number 10A gets the better of Brian Henderson in the local team, Atlanta Speedworks, with two cars in the race this weekend. The 94 cars had its problems for Tyler Stone and Russell McDonough, brought out one of the full course cautions earlier on. Also fighting back, Britt Casey Jr. goes up the inside, the number 17 Audi, fastest car in qualifying, got shuffled back earlier on, but he's now back up into third position. But Colin Mullen is 4 seconds up the road from this battle.
Yeah, but Michael Lewis made up, 3 positions, I think, on that last lap to move into second place. Yes, he's about almost 4 seconds behind Colin Mullen, who's made a great restart. But that Hyundai is fast in Michael Lewis's hand in particular. Or at the moment, I should say. And Brian Henderson, he's hanging right in there. Mikey Taylor, who's taken over from Britt Casey Jr. That team has already won once this season in their limited program. They're looking for another win this afternoon for sure.
A great addition TCR has been. A bit of a tryout last year, or not a tryout, but a third clash when we finally said goodbye to 3 pedal cars with gear levers in IMSA competition. Which is a bit of a passing of the age, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's another thing that Mark Pombo had to get used to, by the way. He'd never driven, well, he had driven about 10 years ago a pedal shift car. I guess that was probably one of the things that I drove here, the Jetta TDIs, actually, completely.
I just listened to that race again the other day. Found it on the archive at radio-show.co.uk. 61 coming through the field. John Morley trying to make up positions. He's got by the Hyundai, and now he's got the Alpha in his sights. Tim Lewis Jr. right ahead of him. That's the battle for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th in the TCR category. Remember, championship contenders. The 37 LA Honda World. Honda's gone behind the wall. Overheating problems from that car. They're out of it now.
Yeah, and second place car, Michael Lewis, he just set, I think, the fastest lap of the race in TCR on that last lap. He pulled in a better part of a second over Colin Mullen in 1 lap.
The
Fastest lap
TCR
of the race, new lap record there for Seb Prio in car number 15.
1:26.808 for Sebastian in 6th position. The TCR cars, proper touring car lines, they absolutely nail the curbs into the pit lane. The Nick Galante Audi, Fast MD number 23, and this is full service shit, Adam.
Field tires and driver change. So it's James Vance's turn to race around here, and Nick Galante, who finished 3rd in the ST class last year and then went on to win that championship, he's looking to try and do a couple steps better. Only 1 win and 1 3rd place for this team in 2019. They would sorely love to finish it out with another win.
Meantime, a problem for the number 35 Riley Motorsport car. That car's got to serve a penalty yet for a pit lane infraction. They'd hit some equipment in the pit lane and had a spin coming out of turn 10B. Is it time to come in and serve the penalty? No, it's not. They stay out, even with the dirty tyres. Oh, hang on a second. They've got a problem with the left rear on that car. They're certainly spraying stones everywhere and gravel, but that car didn't look to be handling very well. I think they've had a tap, and I think they've got a puncture. I think that's a mistake that they didn't come into the pits there, and that's going to be a whole lap. Oh yeah, it's rubbing. There's tyre rub on the left rear, and that is not going to last the whole lap. Should have come into the pit lane. Oh my goodness, you're going to have to do a full 2.54 miles. And the tyre has gone. The tyre has gone. Meantime, in the pit lane, we've got Hyundai, the black car, the number 21, Mason Filippi in the pit lane. Let's go down to Di.
Yes, we have the 21 back into the pit lane. It did come in 5 minutes or so ago, and they did a driver change, but they've had to come in back in to do a refueling, and the car's just left to go back out on track.
Well, I reckon they must think they can go from here.
Yeah, no question.
So they are playing the strategy game here, Jeremy, with that number 21 car for Mason Filippi, the Hyundai Veloster NTCR.
Yeah.
The 35 car, definitely left rear puncture. As soon as I saw that car come out onto the track, I thought it didn't look right, and it's a long, long way back, and he's driving too quickly. and the tyre is flapping. He's doing more damage. Oh dear, that's hard to watch. Tiny little mistake.
CCR battle heading up the hill, by the way, to turn 2 and 3, and Michael Lewis is right with Colin Mullin. That didn't take long to whittle down a 3.7 second gap, did it?
Not at all. He's motivated, I would say there. Bryce Ward showing in the pit lane as well in the number 57, the other Winwood Racing car.
Yeah, he came in a long time ago.
Okay, so that car went behind the wall then, as did the 94 Tyler Stone car. That was early on. Alex Papadopoulos behind the wall. In the 3 Alpha, the 54 Michael Johnson Mercedes, that car out with accident damage.
The other Alpha, though, car number 5, was up into the 5th position.
Yeah, good run from that car. Dylan Murray is desperately trying to get this Riley Mercedes back to the pit lane. The carcass lasted 2.54 miles exactly, because it fell off exactly where he was off the track on the previous lap. And this car still has a drive-through penalty to serve as well, if they can get it back out and there's no further damage. 50 minutes to go, and the 21 Hyundai with Mason Filippi behind the wheel is fueled to the end, as the Mercedes AMG GT4 is with Shea Adam, presumably smelling a little Michelin-ly.
Yeah, it's not the best smell in the world when the Michelins aren't working at their prime, meaning they're doing exactly what they're supposed to. But they're checking that side of the car. They're making sure there's no damage front or rear, mainly focusing on the front. And they're only changing that front left tire. They did have a new one out by the front, the right. No, sorry, let me try that again. The left rear, there we go, too many LRs. And they are, by the looks of it, are they going to use it? They're doing a lot more work on that side of the car, trying to make sure that the body work that was affected by the tire was done. Yep, new tires on the left side only.
Presumably they'll have filled that with fuel as well, with just 48 minutes to go. Their only strategic chance is to hope for a few yellows and not come back to the pit lane again, but they've fallen off the lead lap, of course, with that car. Just a point of note, Jeremy, in that Formula Ford race in Oulton Park, Josh Barrett, I think, is commentating on that race tomorrow and sends us this via at IMSA Radio. He says Julian van der Waart, who's done a bit of TCR in the Michelin Pilot Challenge this year, is out in that Formula Ford race, probably also looking for a bit of practice before the festival. Yes. So that's another name. Oh, and was that a little nudge there? The 52 LA Honda World car, that's second place. Colin Murray, and Mikey Taylor was right there with him in the 1.7 Audi coming out of turn 10B. Well, this is all getting a bit frantic. Oh, now the Alpha... This is another puncture. This is debris. This is debris from the Russell Ward incident, isn't it? They've all picked up debris. They're all going round at the same place when they're leaning on the car. The 5 Alpha goes around just when it got up to a decent spot. It's a left rear puncture there as well, and he'll head straight into the pit lane, and I'm pretty certain I saw tyre damage as well. Now, was there some rubbing being racing here down the inside for the 52, and the 17 Audi tries to go around the outside. Britt Casey Jr., they're all right, there's a tiny little touch, and Britt Casey Jr. continues, whereas the 52 car, Colin Mullen, is into the pit lane. Into the pit lane with 47 minutes to go under green flag conditions is Owen Trinkler for TGM in the 46 Mercedes AMG GT4.
Yeah, I think in anticipation of a full course yellow pass, but even if he doesn't, he's good to go to the end of the race from here, so this is kind of a scheduled stop in any case.
Crew has been up on the wall for 15 minutes waiting for an opportunity for the pit stop, and in Joe they trust. Joe Vardy finally calling Owen Trinkler into the pit. They've already installed Hugh Plum. 4 new Michelin tires going on that car as the 35 does come through and serve its drive-through penalty for the Riley Technology Mercedes. Further up in the 18 car, that's the Audi, more speed. It is Rob Ferriel getting out, and Spencer Papelli, hometown hero, taking over the controls there. They are also going to do 4 new tires. As further down the pit lane, the number 5 leaves after getting its new tires, and the 98, that is the Hyundai, from the lead comes into the pits.
Let's go to Diana for the action at her end of the pit lane. What have you seen, Di?
The number 98, Jachet just mentioned, has come into the pits, so that will be a driver change now. Michael Lewis will jump out, Mark Wilkins will get in behind the wheel. They are refueling and changing tyres, so I think these guys have sort of left their driver change pretty late.
Yeah, they only had 6 more minutes to get the minimum driver time. Settle, they're brand new at this scrub front, I reckon they're brand new. Michelin's going on to the front of that Veloster N, and they, I think, realised that they weren't going to get the yellow flag, but they've come anyway. Their problem is, of course, we've already had their team car in, and they'll have been watching the speed of Mason Filippi and seeing how that car is going on the new tyres, and he comes out behind his teammate. Comes out behind the team car that's just gone through then. Now, are they a lap apart, those cars? I don't think they are. I'll work that out. While Shea has a word with Owen Drink, the outgoing drivers champion. He's just put his teammate into the car. That's Hugh Plum. Shea?
Oh, and it's not a weird situation for you to lead at Road Atlanta, but how good did it feel given that you weren't expecting it at the beginning of the week?
It's awesome, Shea. I love this place, and you used to watch my dad around here, so that was pretty cool. We got new tires, and I knew we had a rocket ship today. We don't have any straight line speed at all, but man, Joe Vardy's put a great setup underneath this car. Man, we're flying through the turns, and so I knew if we got to the front, we'd be tough to pass, and we'll see what happens. I got a great co-driver in Hugh Plum, and what a great team. TGM, Ted Giovannis, Christina, the whole people here. It's just a great crew. We got leapfrog to the front there on that stop, and man, Road Atlanta is so much fun.
Nice mustache. Up to Diana with the Hyundai number 98 and Michael Lewis.
Michael's just taking a drink, well-deserved drink, after he jumped out of the car. Talk to us about the start. It was pretty frantic.
Yeah, it's pretty chaotic. Usually on the starts here, you know, we're at the back of the GS grid, and just a lot of cars going into turn 1 at once. But I just kept my head up and just tried to be calm and clean, like we talked about in the pre-race meeting. So Hyundai Veloster N was on rails once we got going, once we got through the chaos, and just put my head down and try to get back to first.
You sort of dropped down the order slightly. Was that sort of part of the plan?
No, not really, honestly. I just wanted to get through turn 1 in the first few laps. I didn't really care where I ended up. I knew the car was good. Hyundai's given us a really good car at Brian Hurd Autosports. So, yeah, I just tried to keep calm, and then I had a lot of confidence in the car, and so it was not a plan at all. But Mark's in there now. He's a pro. He's experienced. He's calm under pressure, so I think he'll be all right.
How tough was managing the traffic?
Yeah, actually, it was pretty fun to manage the traffic. You could, use them to your advantage. So I was just trying to plan out all of that in the run, and it ended up working. So I feel really good about all those moves, and yeah, I had the grip to do it, because otherwise you couldn't really make those moves. So good pit stop by the guys at Brian Hurd Autosport. It was awesome. Got back out there and just tried to use the traffic to our advantage.
Well, you can have a rest now. Thanks for chatting.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you everyone for being here. It's really cool to have all the fans, and I hope you enjoy the race.
Well, we've got another problem out in the circuit, and once again, it's the 52 car. Not been great. It is a little bit pre-loved, isn't it? That LA Honda World Civic number 52.
Look, the Aston team, they're gambling by not coming in and making a pit stop.
It has been their weak point. Oh, he's right in the middle of the top of the S's. This is a full course caution. Has to be.
Why not come into the pits, for goodness sake?
That car's been in the wall, hasn't it, for the Pombo? Mark the Pombo in that one. Incident responsibility with 82 and 33. Drive-through. Oh, they've both been given a drive-through penalty. The 82 and the 33 have both been given a drive-through penalty for instant responsibility for that car, for putting... oh, that was a breakage for Mark Pombo, by the way. The right front bottom tooling broke on that car. Just coming over the top of the rise. He's done really well to keep that. He hasn't been in the wall, I thought, because the front right wheel.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I thought because the front right wheel was at a jaunty angle, he'd been in the wall, but actually he's done well not to go in the wall. Prio is in the pit lane. Did he get in before the full course yellow came out? Shea Adam was watching that.
Easily. He was already in my eye line before the yellow came out, and that would be about 5 seconds after committing to the pit lane speed limiter. So he's safe, as is the 96 Turner Motorsport BMW.
Yeah.
Can I just have a little...
Why the automatic team didn't bring in the Aston is absolutely beyond me. I mean, basically, whatever Joe Vardy does, follow him.
Yeah, because he 9 out of 10 times
999 times out of 1,000, Joe Vardy makes the right decisions. He's won championships like this as a driver. He's won them as a team principal or team manager as he did last year, and his car is leading, well, will be leading this race.
Okay. I think now the penalties have sorted themselves out with the incident responsibility, and it was the BMW that was given the incident responsibility for the crash that took the 33 car out. For a moment we had penalties for both of them, but only the 82 remains on the screen. It may well be, of course, that that's because the 33 car is out. We'll try and get that confirmed, because that's an interesting one for me. Let's go down to Shea, who's got Kuno Whitmer.
Kuno, you just got out of the car, the number 75 Compass McLaren. It's been hard racing out there. You've been enjoying it.
Absolutely. I mean, any day of the week you could drive a McLaren, I'm happy to be here. So just the greatest product out there. Honestly, the boys are solid. The Compass guys are solid. We just executed 2 perfect pit stops. We started P11. Now we're easily in the top 3 with the shuffling of the pits. So no, I'm proud of the boys. And out there, it's just great racing. Everybody's professional. And hey, if you got Michelin tires in IMSA, then you're in the best place too.
Now, you told Diana the other day that you weren't going to spill the beans on qualifying or race setup. You would let us know during the race or shortly thereafter. Which one did you guys go for?
Right now, our race pace is actually looking really good. We struggle a bit in qualifying, and honestly, it's not where it counts. Where it counts here with the competition is getting them at the end. And we got a pretty good car right now on tires. It's very friendly, and Paul's out there. I got all the faith in his abilities, especially on his birthday today.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, I've just checked with the Alcamel timing screen that I've got here, and I can go back and interrogate that. And at 41 minutes past the hour, both the 82 and the 33 cars were given a drive-through for incident responsibility. I'll get that checked out for that. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah,
basically
probably a fair call.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they were if they'd been on the right-hand side half of the road, I would pin more blame on the BMW than the Mercedes, but way over beyond halfway point, if you like, in the median of the road, I'd say 50-50, and a kind of a racing incident, and I think that's a good call to make that the stewards have made there, because that's not the sort of racing you wouldn't want to be raced that way yourself. No. Why do it to the other guy?
Mikey Taylor is in the 17 car now, which was started, this is the Audi RS3 that was started by Britt Casey Jr. He's up to 8th position overall. He's fought his way through the carnage. That'll all change, of course, because the GS cars will be allowed to go ahead of him. But before that happened, I just thought I would bring to the attention of those of you watching that what is going on there with that number 17 Audi, which is super quick. That was the pole sitting Audi, or the pole sitting TCR car, should I say, for JDC Miller Motorsports. They've already seen their 54 car, I'm afraid, out of the race. And because of their strategy, they were ahead. They were a lap ahead of the whole TCR field. But that's because they were caught behind the safety car. They're going to get waved through now. That fact, that's already happened. And I'm still working on finding out about the number 82 BMW and the 33 Mercedes-Benz, self-penalising rather for the 33 if they've been given the drive-through, because that car is toast. Now here comes the Aston Martin. Akhil Rabinda from the lead is going to give up a huge amount of real estate, but what he is going to do is hand the car over. It'll be a short run, just 40 minutes. Now I'm not sure how well, if Joe Vardy reckons he can go from where that car comes in, so everyone should be able to go from here, certainly, but they will have newer tyres. Mikey Taylor is going to be scored in 2nd position on this lap. Yes, he is. She's gone through in front of us. Let's go back down to the pit lane. Shea, Adam, you've got a TGM type car with you.
Dealing tires for Guy Cosmo as Robin Liddell right up the chuff once again at the 88 BMW, and that thing now actually has scratch marks across the back of it. Now, I know that some people on the pit lane were not impressed by that style of Robin, but they talked about it and no penalties issued. The number 60 is also in. That is fuel and tires for the Mustang as well. This time Nate Stacey taking it to the end of the race, and the 65 Murillo Racing Mercedes also in. Fuel and tires there, and for the number 7 Volt Racing Porsche, fuel and tires for Trent Hinman.
And up the other end, the 09, as you say, automatic racing car, Akhil has jumped out. Tom Long is jumping in behind the wheel. Akhil's just adjusting his straps. They've refueled and taken on new tires, as you would expect. Quite a slick pit stop. Looks like no delays there. They are just putting the rear tires back on, and he should be away any second now.
Everybody else has left the pit lane. It's a terrible pit stop for the automatic racing guys. They came in the first of the cars that came in. It was good for them, but frankly, that's awful. They've dropped 5 or 6 positions on the cars that came in behind them. Now, all right, in terms of track position, but Tom Long has got 6 more cars between himself. I really don't know what's going on in the pit lane.
He's going to be pretty much at the back of the pack.
Yeah.
And the Aston team, the number 99 car is leading the race right now because Ben Waddell did not make a pit stop under this sequence. He does need to make another pit stop, I think, before the end of this race, unless there's even more caution.
He last stopped 20 laps ago, Jeremy.
And assuming that's the case, the reason they didn't bring him in is because they wanted to concentrate on the 09 car. They don't really have 2 full-time pit crews on that automatic racing team, so they have to kind of juggle things around a little bit, and it's all gone wrong again, I'm afraid. Well, yeah, I mean, there's still 35 minutes remaining in the race, but that's going to be a tall order because Tom Long is going to have to pass an awful lot of race cars.
Yeah, and as Di said, it didn't look like much was going wrong. It's just they're not quick enough. It wasn't as if there was a sticky tyre. Yeah. It's not as if there was, as I say, a sticky tyre or anything like that. The fuel takes as long as the fuel takes. We've still got 1 or 2 people diving into the pits now,
including Britt Casey Jr.
Well, he's come in from 2nd position in the race. So he has, well, he's going to lose the TCR lead unless the rest of the field follow him in, and I don't think that is going to be the case. I'm looking for the number 21 Veloster. Here it comes. Almost a full lap down the 73. Matt Pombo Honda is just going past now. So there's the lead going from that 17 car.
Well, the other cars, they've all got the wave around. I don't think they've yet caught up.
Yeah, no, they have. They've gone through.
Okay, fine, right.
The blue Hyundai's just gone through. It's going into turn 1 there, Jeremy, right now. And that's got the black 21 car right ahead of it. So 10th position in the line, Mason Filippi, then Mark Wilkins, then John Morley again for Road Jagger in the Audi. 1st, 2nd and 3rd are in 10th, 11th and 12th. Now they'll lose those positions again as the GS cars go through, but that is going to put the Audi number 17, the 17 car of JDC Miller, Mikey Taylor having taken on from Britt Casey Jr. I don't think they're even going to get out ahead of the 94 car that comes around. Well, they're laps down, in fact, as that car comes around, so they'll still at least be scored there. Last tightening of the straps there. So where does the 17 car? It's Britt Casey Jr.'s got back into that car. So did you score the pit stop of the number 17 last time, Jeremy, when it came in the first time? Because I'm not sure Mikey Taylor's done his time, has he? When did that 17 car come in? I know we've had a lot of yellow. You'll have it on laps rather than time, won't you? Shea Adam might be able to find that out from the team down there. But Britt Casey Jr., the faster of the 2 drivers undoubtedly, is back in to take that car to the end with a new set of Michelins on. And a set of Michelins that are going to be around about 10 laps younger than the cars he'll be fighting against. Let's have a word with Mikey Taylor and find out what the strategy is there, Shea.
Mikey, was that the fastest 40 minutes in the world for you too? Because it seemed to fly by.
It seemed like it. I mean, I was pushing as hard as I can. Unfortunately, made a slight miscalculation on bridge drive time, so we came in, we fixed the issue before a penalty or anything like that. So I drove as fast as I can, and yeah, we'll see what Britt can do now.
Well, that was a good effort out there. Came in from so far up the grid. What was it like mixing it up with the GS cars?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of GS traffic out there, and I understand, you know, they're running their own race, but we're just so much quicker than them in a lot of places. So it was a bit frustrating, but overall the car's in good shape, so hopefully Britt can take us to the front here.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks very much.
Down to Di with Akhil Rabindra. From the 09 automatic racing car, which we were just talking about the stop that they had. But Akhil, let me just ask you about your race first of all. You were putting in a really strong performance.
Yeah, I think it was a good stint. There was definitely a lot of yellow flags, and we had to save some fuel. But I think we did a good job in the end. We had a one stop. We put some fuel and tires that kept me going faster. So, but yeah, definitely there was, I think, a Mustang behind me, a Mercedes in front of me, and then I think also a McLaren behind. So yeah, they kept me on my toes. I did have a few more moments and a few mistakes, but luckily I kept it on the track and brought it back in one piece.
It's a tough race today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I think it's become warmer from the time we started. The tires are getting worn out that much more. The car's drinking that much more fuel. And yeah, I think everyone seems to be on it now. So any small mistake, you're going to lose a lot of positions.
What do you think of this circuit?
Oh, it's a wonderful circuit. I think when you get tired and you keep driving all these fast corners, you got to be that much more patient and attentive to it. But beautiful circuit, awesome corners, and would love to come back again next year.
Thank you.
Well, Tom Long's got a lot to do. I reckon he's going to restart in something like 15th. Yeah, 15th position in GS. He's on the lead lap, and he's got the newest tyres, the youngest tyres of pretty much everyone around him. There's 2 or 3 GS cars around him that have been in at similar times. Tim Probert right ahead of him in the 65 Murillo racing car. Live in sound and vision from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Good to have your company. And the new partnership between Michelin Tyres and Road Atlanta, netting not just the blue and yellow curves, but also the building we're standing in. The brand new Michelin Tower is the home for our broadcast centre here, for ourselves and our colleagues from NBCSN, who are just off to our left. You'll see their coverage of this race in a couple of weeks' time. If you stay with us this afternoon in Sound and Vision on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV, you'll see live coverage of the IMSA Weathertech Sports Car Championship. The only place that you will be able to see that in North America or around the world is here on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. NBC coverage coming as tape delay if you'd rather hear Lee Diffie and the boys instead of Jeremy, Shea Dye and myself, but you will have to wait for that. Half an hour to go, and we're coming back to Green Flag Racing, and Ben Waddell scored as the leader. Gets a really good start in the last race here for the 4.7 V8 naturally aspirated Aston Martin, and look who comes through second in line. It's the Carbon car, many laps down of course after that clash with the number 60 Mustang and Kyle Marcelli on the first lap of the race, but that car's got some pace, and Ben Waddell has made the break with Austin Cindric now in the Ford Mustang number 15 in second.
Yeah, that's right. There's a whole bunch of lap traffic between first and second in the race, and Austin Cindric, he's going to be a hard guy to get past here. I think he's looking very, very good at the moment. Behind him is, or was, the BMW Robbie Foley. Where is he? I didn't see Robbie. Maybe he's still ahead of them. And then right behind him was the McLaren, the Mercedes of Hugh Plum and Paul Holton in the McLaren. And the number 69 McLaren also right in the thick of that battle. You know, to sort themselves through some lap traffic here in the early stages. These GS cars at the front of the field. There's several cars, including the number 19 and various fast cars up there at the front, but they're not racing for the overall lead.
So Jeremy Shaw and John Hindorf in the booth. Coming down into the last half an hour, Paul Imhoff has joined us in the booth. Hello, Paul.
How are you?
Good to see you. What a year for Hyundai and the Veloster. You're the director of marketing for Hyundai North America. Yeah. Your job being made pretty easy this year by the guys from Brian Hurt at Autosport. They're doing the job for you.
Oh my God, these guys are pros. So it's really fun to be around these guys. They are making us look really good.
The Hyundai Veloster N is the car you get in the States. That's why they made the change to that body style this year. You'd had a good run last year with the i30N, and that car is still a global platform as well.
Correct. Yeah, it's the Elantra GT here in the US.
Into the pit lane for Road Shagger Racing, Jeremy. They were well up as well. John Morley's into the pit lane in the 61 car. This is a penalty.
Yeah, for running over a hose during the pit stop. Number 82 car, and that's serving its incident responsibility penalty from earlier. That was running in the top 6 before. Also into the pits is number 96, Robbie Foley. That car was running in the 3rd position at the restart.
Penalty for them too, yeah. That car's going to have to come in to the pit lane. inside the last half an hour. We're shaking this out now. Ben Waddell holding on to the lead, barely at the moment. In fact, he's just lost it.
Tom Long is up into 8th place.
And the new leader, Jeremy, is the 15, the Ford Mustang of Austin Cindric, with Hugh Plum right behind him, trying to go through and capitalise on the hard work of Owen Trinkler early on. There's a McLaren in there as well, which is the 75 of Paul Holton. Then Jesse Lazar, the two McLarens that have swapped round. The grey car with orange is ahead now of the white car with blue as they go across the line down into the first corner. Paul Imhoff's watching from Hyundai North America. We'll get back to him in a moment. There's just too much going on the circuit at the moment. I will say that his two cars are leading, first and second in TCR, just outside, or just inside the top 20 with Mason Filippi and Mark Wilkins possibly heading to a championship there. And that would be back-to-back championships for Brian Herter Racing, who last year, Paul, won the team's championship with the i30N in the World Challenge. But with this new body shape, I mean, did you expect, and did Brian tell you that we can do that again, just putting it into a new body shape? But it's not that easy, is it?
We didn't think so, but Brian was very confident just with his team, with his drivers, and the car. I mean, he's been a pro.
And I was talking to the European guys at the Nürburgring 24, where we had a couple of those cars as well. It's really captured the imagination outside of North America as well, the Veloster N body shape in TCR.
Yes, it has, I mean, our sales here are great, but globally, it's doing really well.
Nice to see that you're getting some N owners here. N is the performance brand. It's off goes Cutlass McLaren number 75, and that is a real shame. That was 4th position that's just disappeared for Paul Holton, trying to go around the outside at turn number 10, and here comes Robin Liddell, a fired up Robin Liddell. He's carving his way back through the field.
Well, he is, but having already carved past Robin Liddell amongst many other cars is Tom Long, who is flying in an Aston Martin car number 09. He's up now into 5th position.
Imagine if they'd given him the car in the lead.
Tell you, it would have been boring, quite frankly. This at least can make it a bit more exciting.
No, absolutely. Paul, I'll let you go in a moment because this is getting very exciting indeed. As Robin Liddell now right underneath the rear wing of the McLaren number 75 through the S's and to turn number 5. Oh, and another mistake by Paul Holton. Can Robin capitalise on that? He goes to the right-hand side down at the braking out for turn number 6. No, that can't work. Right round there. Who's in behind them as well as they're battling down towards the bottom end of the top 10. This is fantastic stuff. That would be Guy Cosmore who's right in there. Cosmore's fighting through. So this is Jeremy, say something while I catch my breath.
It's great stuff, isn't it? Austin Cindric, though, he's in the leader. It's Ben Waddell. What a debut he is making in that old Aston Martin Vantage GT4 car, the V8. Normally aspirated car in 2nd place still. Brilliant. The number 97 Aston, by the way, has taken the lead on the road at the restart and checked out. That's Chris Wilson, who's flying out in front, but he is a lap down. He is not leading the race. It is the 15 Mustang of Austin Cindric.
So is he on the back of the lead lap now, or is he still one? Right, so he's another safety car now with still 23 minutes to go. He'd be in good shape as well. Through goes the TCR battle in front of us. Meantime, at the top of the hill, the battle for 2nd position is between the 99 Aston, and right in behind him now is
the pink Ford is not on the lead lap.
Exactly right.
But the MI McLaren, that is the next on the road. And right behind the MI McLaren is the 09 Aston Martin.
What a restart from Tom.
And then Hugh Plum.
Hugh Plum, he's a wily character as well. They're the defending champions. They're Rainer's champions. Will come to an end at the end of this race. Hyundai's 1 and 2 in TCR. That's been a hard fight, and they're being kept honest at the moment by Britt Casey Jr. back in the number 17 Audi. And Paul Imhoff is the director of marketing for Hyundai North America. Watching this, he's pacing around like an expectant father here. Great to see some of your N, which is your performance brand. We're starting to get car corrals for Hyundai and the N brand now coming to IMSA races. That must make you feel very good indeed.
Absolutely. Yeah, these guys, it's a cult. You know, following these end guys, the Veloster Nation, they treat us really well.
And are we going to see you back with Brian Hurt at Autosport next year with a couple of cars? And we know that some other cars have already been sold on into the US.
Yeah, there are going to be more. We'll definitely keep going on with Brian Hurt for sure.
And are we going to see you back at the races too?
Yes, sir.
You've had a good day today, I can tell.
Great.
Paul, thanks for being with us. Looking in good shape at the moment. Obviously a talisman. You'll have to tell the team that you've got to come back because every time you're here you do very well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Paul. Director of Marketing for Hyundai North America with his two cars, first and second, and about to win a championship if it stays like this. And of course, Jeremy, they'll win the Manufacturers' Championship as well if it stays like this in TCR Hyundai.
No, they won't.
Oh, really?
No, Audi's in second place at the moment.
Is that enough?
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness, so they need another manufacturer.
They do.
So they need a Honda Civic to get in between them and the Audi, do they?
Correct, and the best of the Hondas right now is Todd Lamb in 5th position. The Alpha, though, is in 6th place. That's Tim Lewis Jr. That's a quick car.
My goodness me.
This is great stuff.
It's brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
20 minutes to go. And Ben Waddell, by the way, doing an awesome job at keeping Jesse Lazar and Tom Long and Hugh Plum and Trent Hinman behind. There's been a switch, first and second, with the 98 going to the front. That's the championship leader. The Audi goes through into second, and that might look like a mistake for those guys, but it actually doesn't matter in terms, Jeremy, of the manufacturer championship because you can't score with more than one car. So even if the Audi had been sitting in third position, they would have got second place manufacturer points. So just to clarify that for you.
Yeah, and it was a change. The IMSA McLaren up into second place now.
Finally.
Yes.
And there goes Tom Long through as well. So Tom Long now up into third position at the top of the hill. So the 4.7 Aston Martin gives best to the 4-litre twin turbocharged car. And next up will be Hugh Plum, who's still sitting in behind Nate Stacey in the Ford Mustang, number 60. That car a lap off the lead, a little bit of a lights flashing there. Nate should really let Hugh Plum go now. The leader's past him. And he's getting in the battle for the podium positions here. And Hugh will start to get a little bit frustrated, I would think, behind that pink Mustang, as he sees the cars ahead disappearing. What a season for Hyundai, and the take-up that we've seen from the Veloster Nation. That's a new one on me, but I'm using that. I'm stealing that from Paul Imhoff. He was so excited. He was hopping from one foot to another, and isn't that brilliant? That's the guy at the
Just
head.
following our lead.
Yeah, well, that's true enough. People expected of us. Off has gone the Brynjolfsson car, the number 7. That was Trent Hinman in 6th position, and he's dropping down the timing screen like a stone. Again, it's turn 10. 10B, has he stayed out? No, he's come into the pits. That's, I think, another puncture, Jeremy. I think that's another left rear puncture. Yeah, there's definitely debris coming off the left-hand rear of that car. And as he comes into pit lane, yeah, another left rear puncture has gone. Shea Adam watches the car go by.
I'm down here by their pit box, actually. I've managed to come down to this end just to check what was going on. The tire carcass is flapping about quite wildly. Trent needs to slow down a little bit just to ensure the safety of everybody on the pit lane, and he does just that coming in. This has huge championship implications, though, because this car, this driving duo, tied for third in points coming in. And we know that the first place is already said and done, but second and third and fourth, not yet, according to the points. So they're having a little bit of trouble taking the old left rear tire off. They've got that now and placing the new one on. This is going to be one fired up Trent Hinman when he gets back out there with one new Michelin tire.
Right, let's finish the story on the Russell Ward incident. The Mercedes and BMW, both cars were penalised. So that was the 52 and the 33 from memory, or was it the 82? Sorry.
82.
82, excuse me. Yes, the 82 and the 33. The 82 BMW, the 33. Both cars penalised for incident responsibility that left the 33 car basically in kit form at the end of that. The good news, Russell extricated himself from the car, opened the door and walked away. That's confirmed from race control, and thank you for them getting back to us on that direct question. early on, and as Jeremy said earlier on, easy to categorise that as a racing incident and put the blame equally on both sides. But what race control's doing there, Jeremy, is sending a message to everyone else to say, yes, they were both equally at fault, but that's not acceptable.
Yeah, and I think that's a really, really good call.
Good call. Well, you and I saw it 2 different ways. They've seen it both ways, but they've still said, listen, it's both your faults, but we don't want people thinking that it's okay to do that. And a little golf clap from me to race control. I think race control's had a cracking year this year in so many different ways. Right, let's get back to the battle at the front of the field then, Jeremy. And Austin Cindric has checked out to the 3-second mark. Then the battle for second position. At the moment, it's Tom Long who's got ahead of Jesse Lazare, and he's done that on this last lap. So the 2 mostly white cars battling for second position. So we've got the big Ford Mustang driven by an American, Austin Cindric, leading the pride of the Empire. Can the Empire strike back with the 2 British makes, McLaren and Aston Martin, or Aston Martin McLaren as it is now? Ben Waddell holds on to 5th position as Hugh Plum's got through in 4th for TGM. Shea Adam has an unexpected pit lane caller.
The 73 this time, one of the other ones, the LA Honda World driver out of the car.
Race, LA Honda World today.
Yep, they put the engine cover up and they've decided this one is done too.
The 37 car, Shelby Blackstone, earlier on, along with Tom O'Gorman, had an outside chance of the championship. That car was drinking water faster than someone who'd come out of the Gobi Desert for a week, and that car went behind the wall. So just saying. Quarter of an hour to go, 15 minutes. Hyundai leads Audi by 0.6 of a second in the battle at the front of the TCR field, and in the manufacturer battle, it's Audi who have the upper hand at the moment. Alfa in 4th position are the only manufacturer who can help Hyundai win the championship here, and they've got to get ahead of second-placed Audi to make that happen. Looks a little unlikely at the moment, but Hyundai will take the Drivers' Championship if it stays as it is.
And they might finish 1-2 actually with Harry Gottsacker and Mason Filippi. Keep our eyes on that one.
At the front of the field, Austin Cindric, another 1:27.9 last time around. He's taken a 10th or so out of Tom Long now in second. 3.7 seconds, 14 minutes to go. Remember that, the 14 Mustang, that's the grey and white Motorcraft car, and the 09 Aston Martin, the automatic car, automatic racing car. Don't think that it's a slush box on that car. The 09 car from Automatic Racing, Tom Long, 3.7 seconds to go as they came across to start lap 57.
Yeah, and that gap actually extended by 0.2 of a second on that last lap. So Austin Cindric here is running a very good pace at the front of the field, and despite the fact that Mustang is super heavy, it's very good on its tyres.
Yes, it is. It's very well balanced, that car. Down in 5th position, Ben Waddell in the number 99, the outgoing Aston Martin, the 4.7 non-forced induction car, is holding up a train of cars that goes all the way down to 12th, 13th and 14th, I think, because I certainly saw Robin Liddell in there. So yes. Ben Waddell, Chris Green, then the other McLaren of Paul Holton, then Greg Leofug in the 88 BMW, then the 19 BMW of Tom Dyer, and Liddell's got a problem. Liddell's got a problem. He's pulled out of line and he's being passed by a couple of cars in the 71. It will be no repeat of the storybook finish then for Rebel Rock Racing. Might see that car pitting this time around. Let's look to the top of the hill. Does he peel in? He does not. So Liddell, whatever it is, thinks he can drive this car further to the end of the field. Can I just mention in there as well, Guy Cosmo's being shuffled back again as well. Those guys stopped on lap 40. Is this just tyres now? Are people struggling in the afternoon heat here with tyre grip? Tim Probert's just done his fastest lap of the race in the 65 car, which is in that gaggle of cars. That's an extraordinary run. Eric Foss is in there as well in the 56, the other orange car as well. So this is a great battle from 6th on down. And finally, number 13, McLaren of Chris Green has gone through. That's the Bumblebee coloured car. And now Paul Holton and Gregory Learfuger are battling together, and that's allowing Ben Waddell just to get a little bit of breathing space, and a problem for the 88 BMW. That is Learfuger.
8th position.
He was having a scrap. It looks like a left rear puncture. Left rear puncture. There's something out there, a curb or some debris, that are causing this issue. You lean pretty hard on the left rear of the car, going up through turn 1 and coming down through the final corner at turn 12. Another left rear. We saw it earlier on with even some of the TCR cars had left rear punctures. But this is now beginning to become something of interest. This is the most tyre problems we've seen all year in the Michelin Pilot Challenge. Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta with 11 minutes left on the season. And the battle for the TCR honours in this race is between two of the manufacturers who are scrapping for the manufacturer title as well. Hyundai leads Audi. At the moment, the number 17 car kicks up the dust just for a moment. And see chases down to JDC Miller Motorsports behind the Brian Herder Autosport, the eggshell blue and orange Hyundai Veloster N. Quite a remarkable season for Brian Herder Autosport for their first in IMSA competition. Brian came over to the Nürburgring. Hyundai made a big fuss in Europe about their TCR cars running in the 24-hour race. Here's a pass for position going down the back straight as the Compass McLaren tries to make up a position on Tom Dyer.
It's the other way around.
All right, that's Tom Dyer going up the inside, yeah. And that might also allow Spencer Pumpelly in the more-speed Audi to come down the inside. He's going down there, and looks like Guy Cosmo's trying to follow him through. He can't get that done. Behind that, the bright orange car is Eric Foss in the number 56. This is fantastic stuff. Racing like this is what makes this series a must-watch, must-listen on whatever the day of the week it races. It's Friday this week. It's often the Saturday feature race. IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge delivering again with Austin Cindric still 3.5 seconds to the good at the head of the field.
Yeah, and a super consistency by Austin Cindric. His last 4 laps, 127.95, 0.94, 0.85, 0.82. Beautiful consistency, and that is why the gap between the first and second place cars has remained unchanged for the last 5 laps. Tom Long is driving his heart out in that 09 Aston Martin, but he's not getting any closer to Austin Cindric. And we're inside now, 9 minutes remaining in this race. But the battle for sort of, what, 6 off back, it's intense. What a job Ben Waddell is doing. Can't believe he's gone this far without making a pit stop.
Nate Stacey back in the pit lane in the core. The number 60 Mustang. Kyle Marcelli in that car at the start when there was side-to-side contact with the number 39 championship leading and now championship winning driver pairing in the 39 car barn Audi. Sent that car, the Audi, behind the wall for a couple of laps. And it's not been a great day for the 60 team and that Ford Mustang, the pink Ford Mustang. They're just checking the car over. I echo what you're saying about Ben Waddell. Although he's been passed by a couple of cars that time around, he's still in a solid 8th position at the moment. Yeah. Tom Dyer and Spencer Pumpelly have gone past him.
But I mean, he's got to be managing his fuel. I mean, I can't believe he's managed to get this far. It's pretty impressive.
That car last stopped on lap number 24.
Yeah.
24.
Yeah, which was about 40 minutes into the race.
And we're now on lap 61. Most of the cars around him have done 20 laps fewer than that Aston. Yeah, maybe they'll be looking to keep one of those cars on for the fuel races. That's exceptional, isn't it? Non-turbocharged 4.7 litre V8. Meantime, the battle behind him has Compass Racing still in there. Paul Holden, Guy Cosmo, Eric Voss, Robert Liddell trying to chase back to them as well after a couple of odd laps in the Camaro, but he's right with them as well now in the white, green and black Camaro.
And in TCR, looking at the point situation, James Vance has just overtaken Mason Filippi, put Filippi down to Philippi down into 4th position. He came into this weekend just 2 points behind John Morley and Gavin Ernstone, but he's a couple of positions ahead. That's all he needs at this stage.
Yeah, John Morley was right up there. He was in 3rd position at one time. He's dropped down to 7th now in the 61.
Yeah, he had that penalty.
Yes, of course he did. Well remembered. So much going on in this race. Played I'm not having to write the race report for this one in 400 words. Nigh on impossible. 4 seconds between 1st and 2nd. That's as big as it's been for some time. Stretched out an extra half a second. The battle for TCR lead goes across the start-finish line now. Big wide swing by the leader as he goes round the outside of the number 94 Tyler Stone and Russell McDonough. Atlanta Speedworks car, their 2nd car in the race this weekend. It's been a bit of a baptism for those drivers. Austin Cindric back in sports cars, back in endurance racing, and fabulous to have him here. 2013, the first time that the then young Cindric, very young Cindric indeed, was part of the Erebus Racing AMG Mercedes team. In fact, it was only called AMG in those days. Betty Clemingo, the First Lady of Australian Motorsport, will be getting her team revved up for the Bathurst 1000 this weekend. And it was the 12 hours that Austin Cindric came down under for in 2013. I can't believe it's 6 years. 6 years ago, he was 15 years old when he first competed down there, and the level of maturity that he showed both in his interviews and his driving was extraordinary. So a veteran now, having 22 years under his belt, 21 years under his belt.
There's the Aston Martin 99 in the pits finally.
With 5 minutes to go, just wanted a bit more yellow, I think, than they were going to get. What a run by Ben Waddell, though, Jeremy Shaw.
Yeah,
there's a young man we're going to have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, driving that Sona Car Care, the old Aston Martin bunch is giving it a really good final swan song here in the Michelin Pilot Challenge.
Forge line SOTR is the hashtag. The entire TCR squads and field says Jan 0077. Let's have your nominations, please, to @IMSA Radio. Use the hashtag ForgeLine SOTR for a spirit of this race. And if you want to nominate something or someone for the spirit of the season, same hashtag, same Twitter handle, but just start your tweet with season, and we'll go through those before the end of the race, and we crown champions this weekend.
Just got a couple of wild cards in there. That Alpha team.
Brilliant.
I just love the heart they've shown. I mean, they've come back to the most ridiculous adversities. That rebuild they did at Watkins Glen was absolutely astonishing.
Well, that could be a Spirit of the Season award there, right there. Never say die attitude. They keep running those two cars. They want to come back next year, is what they were telling us in the countdown to green. Hashtag ForgeLine SOTR for the ForgeLine wheels, Spirit of the race. And if you want to nominate someone for the Spirit of the Season, same, but start the text in your Twitter, in your tweet, with the word season @IMSA Radio, please.
Another position gained a couple of laps ago by number 19 car. That's Tom Dyer now up into 5th position. A great run for Tom, making his debut this season in this car. He occasionally drives one of the other Peregrine Racing car barn Audis. But,
Jeremy, here's a developing story. Incident between 23 and 21. That's James Vance in the leading Audi and the Hyundai of Mason Filippi under review. Now, I didn't see that, but if that Audi was to take a penalty there and drop it down behind
not that Audi. If the Hyundai gets a penalty, that could cause them to lose third place in the championship. The other Audi is still in 2nd place. Number 17 car is still in 2nd place.
Okay, yes, okay. That's the second of the Audis, not the leading Audi. Yeah, okay, sorry, got overly excited there. No. Overly excited. Shay's just said, how about Rebel Rock Racing for Spirit of the Season? Only team in GS to win 2 races, and they are in their first full season of racing.
69 team. 69 team too. I mean, how many races have they had snatched away from them in the late stages?
And they keep coming back, and they're going to be on the podium here, are they, with Jessie Lazare with a scant 1 second lead over the Hugh Plum, the outgoing champions. Hugh Plum, Owen Trinkler and TGM, the 46 and 4 cars have been brilliant this year. Get those votes in. Forge Line Wheels, Spirit of the Race and Spirit of the Season at IMSA Radio, hashtag Forge Line SOTR, please. Well, they're coming in quickly. McLaren Philadelphia are saying that their heart is in their mouth at the moment, as they've got a 3rd place for the Motorsport in Action, the Mia car. All of a sudden, Austin Cindric's lap times are going out, 1:28.7.
Yeah, I'm sure he's just managing it now. It'll be white flag this time by.
He's only got a couple of seconds. Back to 2nd place now as he goes past. Yeah, you're right, it will be white flag this time around. 1:28.7 against 1:28.1. 2.8 seconds at the line last time. The Motorcraft Ford Mustang, started by Sebastian Priaulx, the 18-year-old son of Andy and Joe Priaulx. There's the white flag. Cars diving into the pits at the end, all struggling for fuel. They're further down the field, including Tim Lewis Jr. in the Alfa Romeo Giulietta. Also coming in, Robbie Foley coming in. Larry Holt doing double duty as engineering this weekend on the Mazdas, as well as engineering this number 15 car. 3.2 seconds it was back up to at the line. So Cindric doing the job perfectly well, and it's going to be a win and the championship surely as well in the driver's side of things for Mark Wilkins in the number 98 Hyundai Veloster. They're not going to quite snag the manufacturer's title, but he and Michael Lewis are going to take the Drivers' Championship. But the last race of the season and the last win of the season then will go to the Blue Oval. Austin Cindric and Sebastian Priaulx, 2 young drivers with a big future. 2 corners to go as out of turn 10B, over the Bryce, into our sight here in the Michelin Tower, down through turn 12, and it is Multimatic and the Ford Mustang who win it. Austin Cindric and Sebastian Priaulx will stand on the top step. Tom Long charging back after a brilliant run early on by Akhil Rabindra, and if they could only turn that car around in the pits, they'd have stormed away with this race. Jesse Lazaire will get a podium finish for Motorsport in Action after a trying season for those guys. And Corey Fergus will go through and stand on the top step, or the 3rd step as well.
Tom Dyer did not come through in 5th position on this final lap in car number 19 for Stephen Cameron Racing.
Really, he's dropped back, has he? So who gets further up? Spencer Pumpelly there.
He will finish in 5th position. And the AWA McLaren team, what a good job by Ori Fidani and Chris Green to score that team's first top 6 finish of the season in the McLaren, ahead of the similar car of Paul Holton from Compass Racing.
Let's get some reaction from the overall winner, and then we'll go to the TCR Championship. Adam is with Seb Priaulx.
Seb, 1 race in the US and 1 race win. Congrats. How good does it feel to win at Road Atlanta?
It's unbelievable feeling. I can't believe it. I mean, I didn't really realise we could win. I thought it'd be quick, but definitely not win. And it's amazing to win with the amazing Ford Mustang, and Multimatic and Ford Performance did a great job as well this weekend to give us a car that lasted. So it's awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
And the winner of the TCR, the number 98, Brian Herter Autosport. I've got Michael Lewis and the team celebrating down here in the team garage, and you've obviously taken that Drivers' Championship as well. Many congratulations. That was some race today.
Yeah, Mark Wilkins brought it home in fashion, man. He was having a lot of pressure from the Audi guys behind. They're great competitors, so congrats to them on a good race. And we've had a really special person on our car all year long, a sticker dedicated to Reese Imhoff. His father Paul is here. Reese, left this world earlier this year, and we dedicate this championship to him. And thank you, Paul, for being on our program. Thank you to Hyundai for building such a fast car. I mean, all race long we can turn really good laps. I mean, it's tough out there, but big thanks to them and Brian Hurt Autosport for really giving us a great car. It feels so good. It was a little bit stressful there, but we did it. The whole team executed really well. Strategy, John Ward on engineering, Justin Jang, Kyle Compton, Brian Hurt again for putting this all together. So thank you to everybody watching at home. It's such and all the fans too for coming out here. Such a great feeling.
Thank you, and enjoy your celebrations.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to party hard tonight.
there's a team in the early stages of a very heavy hangover. I reckon those guys, they'll be back next year, of course, to defend. We heard that from Paul Imhoff, from Hyundai, and Brian Herter will learn some lessons from this year. Hasn't been completely perfect, but my goodness, what a debut season for the Hyundai Veloster NTCR Drivers' Championship. They'll just miss out on the Manufacturers' Championship in TCR, Jeremy, by a point to Audi. Is that correct?
Yes.
So Audi do have some...
than that.
So they'll be looking back at the races and saying, oh, where did we go wrong? As far as the Drivers' Championship in TCR, though, that is confirmed for Mark Wilkins and Michael Lewis. But second place will change. And I'm trying to work out who will have come through. Where did Todd Lamb finish at the end there? No, they were too far down. They were in 5th position. James Vance and Brooke Casey Jr. ahead of them. So Gottsaka might have done enough, have they?
Yeah, I think by 1 point.
So I reckon I unofficially make that, looking over Jeremy's shoulder, that Hyundai teams are first and second in the Drivers' Championship. That very much fingers and toes counting at the moment. As far as GS is concerned, well, the Carbon team will take the Drivers' Championship, not in the way they wanted, with a tough race this weekend with damage early on for Tyler McQuarrie and Jeff Westphal. But Carbon with Peregrine Racing take the Drivers' Championship, and in second position in the Drivers' Championship in GS, Jeremy, will be
Jesse Lazar and Corey Fergus. Really good season.
Yes, good season.
What a great way to finish off. They started off with 2 podiums, finish it with a podium as well, and a really strong run today for that Canadian-based team.
Manufacturers in GS, Jeremy?
Manufacturers in GS will go to Mercedes. But they came in here with a 3-point edge. It was Ford, Aston Martin, McLaren and Mercedes, but they're 1 position ahead of the Audi, so that will be enough for Mercedes to clinch the GS Manufacturer Championship.
Okay, fantastic.
3 wins on the season.
3 wins on the season for
Mercedes.
Yes. But 2 wins on the season for GM, of course, with Rebel Rock Racing. But that's quite extraordinary. They're the only single team, Rebel Rock Racing, to have got the 2 races on the year.
This win, though, for Ford, that'll jump Ford all the way from 5th to 3rd in the Manufacturer Championship.
Now, let's do a quick reconciliation on the Forge Line Spirit of the Race and Spirit of the Season awards.
Could be anybody.
This could be anybody. The Spirit of the Race award as voted by you, and we'll get that for you in a moment. Brian Herter Autosport for this race. Brian Herter Autosport for this race, working hard to get through the T. They dropped down a decent way. Honourable mentions for the automatic racing guys in this race. And as far as the Spirit of the Season is concerned, certainly the Alphas would have been in there. Rebel Rock Racing would have been here. And a dead heat between Carbon and Rebel Rock Racing for the Season Award, for the Forge Line Wheels Spirit of the Season Awards. And do you know what? I think I'm all right with that. The Alpha team coming in very closely behind those in what effectively then is 3rd position. Thank you for the support of Forge Line Wheels this year for our Spirit of the Race and therefore Spirit of the Season Award, and for all of you who have voted on Twitter. Jeremy, some thoughts from you about the season so far. I don't think we'll get a word with our season champions Carbon, because that car finished well down, but they're not on the pit lane. We've got Mark Wilkins with Diana before we go to our season summary.
Mark, sorry to interrupt your celebrations. Many congratulations. Michael said earlier, you're the man to bring that car home.
Well, Michael did a great job, and as always, pressure was on, but, we just treated this like every other race, and we just drove the car as hard as it would let us for the whole run. This Veloster and TCR has just been spectacular this year, and we got the car just the way Michael likes it, and we seem to like the same car. So it was a great day. It's my favorite track. It's so nice to bring one home here. It's a fantastic facility.
And a great week for you as well, with the addition to your family. So lots to celebrate here.
Lots to celebrate. I can't wait. Dude.
And Michael just joins Mark now, so they're just congratulating each other. Superb job.
Oh, it was awesome. Get Michael to say a few words about his drive. It was just...
Oh, we've spoken to him already.
I don't know. I'm out of the loop. It was just great. I just can't thank Brian and the whole team for a great job. I mean, it's just the atmosphere, the synergy. It's what's been created here that's so special. And these cars are special. They're just awesome. So can't wait.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Austin Cindric, race winner, you drove the car away at the restart when everybody was saying, oh, look at the Aston Martin, but nobody could take their eyes off you in the Ford. What a heck of a drive.
Yeah, how about that Mustang with 2 left side tires? Great strategy call by the team, and giving us an awesome piece of kit. Multimatic does an amazing job with everything they build, but combination with Ford Performance, it's a quality package. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get Seb's first win in his first U.S. race. It's cool to have my career kickstarted by Multimatic and then see the next generation.
I know your dad is a great engineer to have in your ear, but Larry Holt isn't shabby either.
Oh yeah, he's the mad scientist. I love it. He does crunches fuel numbers in his head for fun. He's awesome. It's awesome that he believes in Seb and I and has kind of performance like this.
Congratulations. And actually, Diana's managed to track down your dad, Seb.
Andy, what can I say? You must be beside yourself. What a result today.
Oh, it's quite emotional. I mean, to see both Austin and Seb work so well together, and obviously Larry and all the team at Multimatic just gave them a brilliant chance. And it's so hard to win races. To see this today, it's special. Really nice way to end the season. And I think Ford Performance and Multimatic and everybody have done a great job. And thanks to them for getting these 2 kids here and giving them a chance to go racing.
I'm sure Joe is beside herself as well, back at home, and you'll all be enjoying this.
Yeah, this is a really nice way to the end of the year. They had a really tough championship in Britain. They nearly won it, but to win the last race of the year is always special and very important.
Congratulations, Andy.
Thank you very much to Shea and Diana down in pit lane. Won the second race in GT4, Austin Cindric. I think, Jeremy, you've got 30 seconds to sum up the season. That's the equivalent of me giving you 400 words if you were writing it.
Yeah, impossible. It was a brilliant season. Absolutely tremendous. Michelin, I think, has brought a lot to this series, but GT4, the category works. It's cost-effective racing. It's brilliant racing. It's super close. 8 manufacturers. Anybody can win on a given day. TCR, that's been tremendous. That's going to grow next year. The news of Mazda coming in for next year, I think, is huge. And this whole championship is just moving forward with every single step. It's great to see.
Great race to finish. Our best wishes to Michael Johnson, who was involved in that nasty crash, and also, of course, to Russell Ward. I've got to say thank you to all of our production crew. I did it earlier on in case I forgot, but I've got time now to say everybody at the track, all of our camera operators, everybody who rigs fibre and runs fibre in the most awful of conditions, plus, of course, all the NASCAR production ladies and gentlemen up at Charlotte who give us the pictures to send around the world on IMSA TV. Plus, of course, our tech team at IMSA Radio, both here at the track with our IMSA colleagues and back in London, Curry, Rob, Tim, and everyone who's worked on it this season, as well as Shea Adam, Jeremy Shaw, Diana Binks, and the rest of the team. We'll do it all again at the Rolex 24 weekend in January, the end of January next year. And then we'll have that big 4-hour race to kick off the season on Friday. And now you've seen what we can do in 2 hours. Just think what we can do when we double that up to 4 on the high banks and the road section of the Daytona International Speedway. I've had a cracking year with the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. We've broken all kinds of records right the way through the year. I'm going for a lie down in a darkened room, but don't go too far away because we'll be back with WeatherTech qualifying live in sound and vision exclusively on IMSA TV and IMSA Radio.